And with that being said, let's take a look at today's schedule. Again, this is the last day of the group stage, the last 6 best of ones. Mirko, how are we looking today?
RQ Brazil or RQ Akira taking on S11 Gaming from Argentina first. Then we obviously have Occupy Thrones facing off against Echo PH. S11 Gaming then going up against the Malaysian champions in Team Hawk.
And after that, even though we won't be on the desk, there'll be Echo going up against RSG Singapore, the Valley, the very hyped up the Valley against Team Hawk, and of course RRQ Hoshi against RSG again.
Arashi Hoshi?
RRQ Hoshi.
RRQ Hoshi. Okay.
We'll be loading up into the draft here. As we get loaded, game number 1 upon us in the first best of the one for this final day of the group stages. Already the band's coming out here. It's going to be S11 Gaming taking out that Valentina, who we see constantly either banned or picked out. The Glue, which we know a lot of people, they have special feelings about. And on the other side, we've got the Fanny and the Wan band.
It's still just standard bans, right? These are the prio heroes currently. The only unique ban is, surprisingly enough, the Valentina, because right now we're seeing a lot of Valentina get left open, and it's still seeing mixed results. Not super successful, but not bad at all. Glue, however, has been banned a lot, has been played sometimes too, has never been let go in the draft at all. But it's actually sitting at a negative win rate, which is interesting, right? Because we all said that Glue's broken, Glue's broken, Glue's broken. But because it's really good, a lot of teams maybe overestimate force pick it, and we've seen that results haven't really been too good.
And maybe they use it and try to overcompensate for a bit of a disadvantage in their drafting phase. Right now, Yves as well as Carry, 2 very solid heroes, has been banned out as well. S11 with a very quick pick onto that Joy, very mobile, very dangerous with good clear in the lane, an all-around very solid hero, but it depends on which lane, which position does this Joy go to. In the XP lane, with the Vengeance, I think it's just so much better.
I was just going to ask you that, Rashi. You know, this has been, I feel like, a debate here on the caster desk so far up to day 4. Where does Joy fit? Where does she shine the most? And it's still, I feel like it is still up to debate up to this point. But on the flip side, we have RRQ Akira locking in another pretty well-picked hero, Kaja, because of just the Divine Judgment pick-off potential. And then, of course, we're going to see Fredrin here. The biggest thing, though, is Fredrin still allowing that flexibility. You still don't know. Is he going in the side lane? Is he going in the jungle? Same thing that you can say, again, about Joy here.
Technically, the Kaja is also still flex, right? We still don't know, right?
Jungle Kaja.
Roam, jungle could still work. XP not so much, but yeah, the Fredrin and the Kaja, 2 solid picks, not just in their lanes, but even just the flexible potential of these 2 heroes. On the other side though, Joy hasn't found a lot of success too. It's been prio, it's been banned out and picked every single time, but the results have been really bad for the Joy. S11 Gaming though, they're doubling down on that early aggression that we mentioned, picking up a Cho and the Kadita mid-control. That's the name of the game for the Argentinians.
I thought that RQ Akira was going to go very aggressive with the crowd control, right, from Fredrin and Kaja. But S11, they want to contest that with a Kadita pick. And usually, we have seen that the Kadita can be flexed out, but for the most part, it's always in the roam position. So we'll see if S11 can surprise us and maybe use this Cho as a bit more of a wild card as well.
I would love if RRQ Akira locks in another flexible pick, because still, for both teams in the first phase of the draft,
question mark.
yeah, it's literally a huge question mark. Where are these people going, aside maybe from the Kadita, like you said, right? Because Cho has also been in the jungle. Joy has been in the jungle, right? So there leaves that, just again, that huge question mark on the table. The next pick, though, this one we know where it's going, right into the gold lane. The Beatrix is locked in.
You think? No, okay,
Jungle Beatrix.
Playing a mid lane Beatrix?
Well, we did see that before, right? Before it got nerfed, before all the changes towards Beatrix, but now I think we have to agree, right? There's no way that this gets flexed. The Beatrix doesn't really do well in the mid lane, especially up against these 2 monsters in Kadita and Cho. But a question for you too, Arashi. Beatrix, same thing. Win rate, not good at all. It's abysmal win rate. What do you think?
I think a lot of teams have been playing the very mobile, very fast movement compositions, and Beatrix right now relies so much on the abilities landing, which makes it very, very difficult. So you need a very particular setup to ensure that the bulk of the damage does reach the members of your opponents. And on that note as well, it's going to be a bit difficult in the laning phase, considering how much all these teams just roam around and make sure that their gold laner has an advantage. So RRQ They want to go aggressive, and they're looking like they have a bit of a combo going on. But the Beatrix has always been struggling, especially against so much pickup potential from the side of S11.
Yeah, I feel like we're in a weird place, right? Where you're still seeing Beatrix picked up a lot, but the win rate just isn't there. But you know, obviously these teams spent a lot of time practicing. We saw a lot of Beatrix 1-1 previously, right, throughout the year and everything. So we'll see again how you utilize that gold lane, because honestly, it's not always about the gold lane in these matchups, which we're seeing here. And I also love that Benedetta band coming out from S11 because of just the massive game that we saw Takashi have, and even in that versus, you saw the signature pick was actually the Terizla there, right? Do we possibly see a ban towards that? Is it possible that that comes out here, or is he actually going to be playing the Fredrin? I mean, that's the biggest question, where exactly Takashi's going.
See, that's why the flex picks are just so good in the first phase, right? It really makes the opponents think. And S11, they're going to have to go for a ban towards the XP. Not the Terizla, but it's the hero with the initial T. It's the Tamiz in the XP that's going to be banned out, right? We haven't seen a lot of Tamiz.
I think it's just White Chicken, man.
It's just White, right?
It's just White.
Yeah, that was a very impressive game from Fried Chicken, though.
Yeah.
Maybe S11, that is what they want to avoid, right? They want to go for pickoffs, but if they're up against a very solid EXP laner that can go up against multiple members at the same time, then that will actually throw a wrench into their macro setups. So I think it's a smart move, but RQ Akira, they have a lot more options here still. They can go for that Lolita that's still available, and that is a hero that Luis has shown to be playing so well.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to get our answer in just a couple seconds. Lunox, right? Who we've seen pop up 3 times up to this point has had a pretty good performance.
Really good, yeah.
Really good.
But mostly in the gold lane.
Mostly in the gold lane, right? But so that's not happening here. So
Unless.
But I think it's highly doubtful here with the Beatrix. But S11 Gaming, I mean, what do they want to take into the gold lane here specifically? And then still, in just a couple seconds, we will find out, is this Joy still going in that jungle? Could it be the Cho here? Now, having the Kadita locked in with that burst potential, you do have a great option to burst someone down from RQ Akira, but you got to utilize it, and that is the Irithil locked in for the gold lane.
Oh man, Irithil just hasn't been too solid here in M4, the meta currently, but I do like the Grok pick, right? It really stops the momentum that RQ Akira has, stops them from engaging, and hey, it's also a solid initiation tool.
Let me ask you something.
Go ahead.
Weapon Master Grok or High and Dry Grok?
It depends if he's a roamer or the XP now, right? Because the Cho can still go to
Cho
XP.
can still, yeah.
I think the Grok's going to go to roam position. Looking at the games that, yesterday's games, High and Dry, Weapon Mastery, I am biased towards Weapon Mastery, right? The damage that Alien was doing was unreal, and you scale to the later stage of the game. So I think it'll definitely help him up against this kind of composition, which is quite squishy. If you want to look for that one shot, sure, just go for the Weapon Mastery, wait for those items, and then go. But the smartest pick is another, just such a solid choice for RQ Akira up against so much CC. It's going to cancel out everything.
Yeah, I like it. We've seen now both team compositions here. Arashi, any final thoughts on the team composition you like the most?
I feel like both teams are just so aggressive, but I feel like for RQ Akira, they have a bit more tools to work around with, a bit more crowd control immunity that will allow them to be a lot more dominant in the vision contesting. So I believe they have a bit of an edge here, but as you mentioned, both teams, they just seem very, very intent on just diving towards each other.
Well, I got to say, with RRQ Akira here, they definitely have the tools they need. But I think the biggest thing, again, is that March's pick, right? How do you utilize that? You're going to be able to dodge a lot of CC here. And then can you also utilize the Kaja pick? Because we've seen games where that struggled as well. But that's going to be it for the draft as we load up into the Land of Dawn. Ladies and gentlemen, the last day of the group stages. RRQ Akira versus S11 Gaming.
Oh, you can already see the group up from both of the teams, right? They're just swapping sides right now as both teams, again, are just looking to just help their junglers get the buffs normally. Both junglers opting to go for the purple buff here.
Yeah.
So it's a very interesting path they're going to take. There's one thing that's very interesting, though, yeah. Papa Dog.
Is that it? I was going to point it out to you, man.
Weapon Mastery, right? He didn't go for it. He went for High and Dry here, which is interesting. What do you think about this?
it means that he is going for a lot of 1v1 damage coming in. But of course, on the side of RRQ Akira, they also actually went for the Martis in the EXP lane instead. So both teams, again, going to be very aggressive. But I do think that as far as wave clear goes, RRQ Akira has a bit of a lead with the Beatrix, with the Lunox, as well as the Martis. So I think in the early game, that kind of speed and how you can rotate will be critical in deciding who arrives to the fights first.
See, this is why it's so interesting with drafts, because both teams super flex, right? We didn't initially we were like, where's Joy going? She goes in the jungle, okay. Then you have the Kadita in the mid lane not roaming. You have the Cho on the roam, and on the other side, same thing. You actually have the Fredrin in the jungle, right, doing that. And then it was the Martiz, who we have seen in the jungle as well often, but he's in the hands of Takashi here. And that matchup alone, Takashi versus Papa Dog, I feel like it's going to be tough for Takashi to get a kill here, whereas Papa Dog could possibly get an early one if he is able to utilize that high and dry emblem. And you can see the team focusing on the bottom side.
Already right early on, Takashi though, on the Martis. That's why they actually opted to put the Martis in the XP lane instead of the jungle. And instead they went for Fredrin in the jungle, which is, again, a weird style, because usually we do see the Fredrin get placed into the XP. But now King is already rotating towards that turtle side, going up against Papa Dog, Jotun, and Erwin. As Erwin jumps in with Way of the Dragon, able to actually bring King all the way back when Takashi looks for a steal. The Divine Judgment comes in onto Jotun, but it's still going to be S11 who takes the turtle. Both teams disengaging, and S11 walk out with the favorable trade.
No one gets taken out, but that is a very quick maneuver from S11, and I thought that RRQ Akira were the ones that were going to put a trigger, because if you look at the composition, they have a lot more burst damage they can play around with, whereas for S11, they have a lot more outplay potential, but it seems like they are the ones that will be picking up first blood.
First blood by S11 and Chan. This is what we said in the keys to victory. He needs to start popping off.
Yeah.
Picks the Kadita, flashy hero, does it. Erwin, with the way the Dragon and the Jikundo, brings King back, and that might just be a kill. King can't dash away. Sagan tries to look for some compensation, but it is not enough just yet.
S11 off to a great start here. And yes, like you mentioned, right, Kadita, if you can get these early kills, you've got that last worship here. You also have the Petrify, which again has been debated. You know, do you run with the Flicker? Do you have the Petrify? Obviously, a lot of more people would opt for the Petrify for that combination to get out one member from RRQ Akira. But already, is there anything that sticks out to your eye here, Arashi, for the emblems?
Of course, we talked about the high end dry already, but we can see actually in the mid lane though, a play happens to interrupt the analysis yet again. This is gonna be a spicy one, boys.
They just don't like you, Arashi. They don't want you to talk, bro.
I understand.
Okay, you understand, right? But Erwin has just been massive here.
I mean, I feel like at this point, most Cho games that we've seen have been very valuable, right? Whichever team decides to go with this hero. And it works so well in the roam because, again, you're able to just allow Jotun to go ahead and farm up, right? You don't really have to worry about too much, and then you come and contest those objectives. The next turtle coming up here in just a couple seconds. He's going to be in the right situation, but Papa Dog.
Ooh, almost getting solo killed by Takashi. And again, this Martis in the XP lane in the matchup up against the Grok is working really well, as Louise is going to be able to find a Divine Judgment. That's the Bennett's Rage coming in as well, as Erwin is able to find the way to Dragon onto Louise. Who gets the turtle? It's Chan, who takes it and secures it for his team. Both roamers falling, but again, S11 walk out with the better trade.
That's a collateral turtle take from Chan with the rough waves. And S11, they're just doing so much better at abusing the fact that RRQ wants to group together and go for that dive in. Because then they group up for that big combo, and later on Papa Dog will be in the mix as well. So RRQ, they need to try and spread out a bit, because in the early game at least, they don't really match that burst damage from the Kadita. So they have to wait for some items to come in for that Bandit's Rage like earlier to actually decimate the HP bars of S11.
Man, right now, Chan is just, the value on this pick is massive for S11 here. And now the focus on the top side. They're actually going to back off, though. The whole team, both squads here, but Erwin.
Almost. Just looking for it, right? Doesn't have the flicker just yet, so he actually stops right there. I do want to talk a little bit about the stakes of the game. If Akira wins this game, guaranteed upper brackets, #1 in the group. But if they lose, there is a chance of a three-way tie once again in this group.
Are you ready for it?
I'm ready. Everyone's ready too. As he flickers under the turret, not going to be able to find the Jeet Kune Do, though, is Erwin's gonna fall under that turret, gets caught. But Sagan falls too. Chan, right now, is popping off. He's doing what the keys to victory tells him to do.
Sagan
He listens, bro.
almost instantly gets deleted. I thought he was going to survive, but he got clipped by the rough waves, and that instantly bursted him down. So Chen is so massive right now, but in the bottom side.
The wild charge just stops Takashi unless he's able to do something here. Nope. Nothing magical there. He's just going to get taken down. And RRQ Akira are able to find a trade on a turret. Turret for kill.
I mean, given the situation that S11 has, RRQ Akira has been finding ways to keep it as close as possible in terms of economy, right? That's best case scenario for them because they're going to have to claw back into this game. Right now, the pace obviously being set by S11. Next turtle's up. You can see even Papa Dog finding the positioning he needs to. And Luis doesn't have Divine Judgment, right? So this is most likely going to be another turtle going in the hands of S11, furthering their lead here objectively, and they'll be able to play around this as pretty much all of their members getting very comfortable in terms of itemization at this point in the game.
This is why it's so difficult when you go for so many late game picks. We saw a similar story from Blacklist, but they are forced to concede so many objectives in the early game. But fortunately for them, they're still able to match the structure takes and even have a bit of a lead. Taking a look at the items right here, Hunter Strike for Takashi means that he can be a lot more aggressive, but Gusta La Gusta with the Blade of Despair will start doing a lot more damage, especially to the Squishier members. But of course, once the lightning punching from Chen is completed, the already insane burst will get even worse for the side of RRQ Akira.
Takashi was looking for a steal there, but will be caught in the wild charges. Erwin comes in to rotate, but Jotun's just going to be able to slay him down. The Divine Judgment comes onto Erwin right now as King is able to find a taunt. Sagan picks up the kill, a 1-for-1 right now. Ooh, Chan still able to get out. Jotun, once again, jumping back and forth, trying to get that last proc, but will just decide to disengage as Sagan comes in, just dealing some damage.
And that whole time, Gusa Lagusa almost got taken out on the bottom side by Kai. So, I mean, that's just showing how much of a sort of vacation mode Kai has had. They might be focusing here on the bottom side, but Jotun not even going to let King and Luis get close enough. Still, though, Luis doesn't have the Divine Judgment. This is what RRQ Akira has to do. They have to play around Luis, and that's kind of been the trend for them throughout the group stage, is Luis finding those sets, whether he was playing the Lolita, whether it's the Kaja here. And still, if Gusa Lagusta can continue to grab a couple kills here and there, he's got weapon mastery himself, he will be a threat as the game goes on here.
Luis, we have seen that he really does do a lot more flashy things when he has AoE crowd control that can set up his whole team for a big fight. But whoa, King!
Erwin is able to find that right now, but everybody just collapses. The Petrify is massive by Chan. He finds the Luna. Sagan's gonna fall. And Luis as well to Kai, who picks up a double. Gusta Lagusta rotates back into the mid lane, but it's a bit late. Takashi is gonna be caught there. Jumps in onto the bush, and S11, they've timed that perfectly for the neutral objective to spawn, and that's the Lord.
I wonder if RRQ Akira can be considered doing good or bad right now, because they've been losing a lot of fights, but at the same time, they've been able to minimize the goal difference, the structure difference as well. But now with S11 taking that Lord, if they play the macro game properly and manage all three waves at the same time, they have a chance here to, at one fell swoop, just break down multiple turrets from the side of RRQ Akira.
Man, Erwin... still, just finding these little moments here. We're going to take a look at the replay in just a second, presented by TikTok here. Look at that, right? This is what we call the TikTok play in the Philippines. Comes in with that combination and doesn't die. Like, he's able to survive as well. And then the double there from Kai. That is a massive value here for S11.
What? What happened? Chan just got caught. And Jotun's looking for that ambush. Luis is going to be taken low. He doesn't have the Divine Judgment. And Jotun's just going to be able to walk him down. Takashi on the back, forced to flicker out very low. Jotun gets traded back as Gusta Lagusta picks up a mega kill. But man, it's just action everywhere, and they don't stop.
They're still going.
Here, Sagan comes in with Wild Charge, will cancel that damage out. Erwin jumps in, now bringing him back with Wader's Dragon. As Kai is going to be able to actually deal the damage back onto him. But Gusta and King traded back once again, and it's a shutdown over to Gusta.
Man.
This is a tough situation here because multiple shutdowns were picked up by Gusta Lagusta in that fight. Look at the damage right now.
Okay.
Out of nowhere, he is 6-0.
Okay. The Beatrix does damage. Right. What was wrong with all the other Beatrixes at M4?
What's with the win rate?
Yeah. He's 6-0.
It's Gusta
no
Lagusta,
idea.
man. He's 6-0. He has the weapon mastery. And just a couple minutes ago, we were like, at one point, Gusta Lagusta, if he can continue to farm up, he is going to be a threat. And this is now. Now we're here, right? This is exactly what we're seeing. They get some more space on the map that they need. They even out the turret situation. But still, S11 is not out of this, right? They still do have quite a bit of control. They've got setups here. But Irwin, at this point, has to be much more careful in the way that he approaches these. And the same thing, Luis, now that he has Divine Judgment, he's feeling a little bit more confident, especially with Gusta Lagusta popping off at this point. He could find a setup that he wants, and then that's an immediate -1 for S11.
It's going to be way harder for S11 to pull off their composition in the later stage of the game, right? They need to use their burst really efficiently towards that back line, and it's Sagan and Gusta. Thing is, Sagan can go invulnerable, and Gusta, the longer the game goes, will have some defensive items, will be a bit harder to catch. Meanwhile, for S11, most of them are open, and most of them can't really, take the prolonged fights here. It's just Kai, but just as I say it, again, Gusta Lagusta, he's dealing a lot towards Papa Dog on that high and dry.
See, that's the thing. As we just said, Luis will pull those into Gusta Lagusta, find a kill, but Chan, though,
Chan still has the rough waves. He is going to be able to get out of that one. A good snipe over just to poke Erwin down. But RRQ are doing good right now. They've gotten the turrets down, and they can actually just wait it out. Play the long game, unless Erwin gets caught here, and that's just a legendary picked up by Gusta.
That's insane,
What
man.
is Gusta? What? This man's insane.
It's such a tough situation right now because Gusta is relatively survivable. Wow, that's a lot of damage, but he has a Has clause as well, so he is sustaining a lot in these fights, and later on, Luis can transition from being an engage tool to a peel tool to ensure that Chan or Jotun, anyone who just dies on the back line, can get instantly shut down and destroyed by the damage coming in from the 8-0 right now, Gusta Lagusa.
oh, look at Chan. He's
I
looking
am.
for a setup here on Gusta if he can find it.
Oh my god, Sagan actually reads it out. Chan's still able to dish out the damage, but again, that's where the Lunox comes in handy. I thought I was going to hit, and then he's going to go for
Luis
ult,
on the
and then he
hunt,
goes
though.
for the hit. But yeah, Luis is on the hunt. Not really going to be able to commit just yet, though. So, both teams just disengage unless Papa Dog gets caught with Wild Charge. He is going to be able to turn it back around onto RQ Akira. Luis is going to be sprayed down right there as Gusta still dealing a lot of damage in the back. Flickering out to safety as he's going to be able to kite for a bit, but King will fall to the hands of Kai, who's still running wild on RRQ Akira. And there's a triple kill, and in the mid lane, it's a 1v1 where Chan's going to be able to actually deal out the damage to shut Gusta down. Takashi coming back at it, getting the decimate, and getting a trade back in. It's a 4-for-1.
Out of nowhere. That's a 4-for-1 after securing the Lord. Both these teams right now, after taking a Lord, has gotten taken out very decisively. What is going on? Arca Akira, they stood there with 2 members in that late game in a Lord push situation.
I mean, now we've been talking about Gusta Lagusta, and Kai has heard it, and he's like, what about me, right? He's 7-1-3, just had a massive play there. So either way, this game can be anybody's game. S11 still in a good position, and a lot of it still. It's the same thing mirrored across these two team compositions. Who gets that pick off? Who finds a person out of their team? I mean, if it's Papa Dog, great, right? If he can get someone from RQ Akira out of here, and that target is most likely probably going to be Takashi, as we see him try to focus on these side lane pushes a little bit. But still, as we're about a little over a minute away from that next Lord, it is going to be crucial to who has the numbers advantage leading up to that objective. But taking a look at the items, how are things going here, Arashi?
A Cursed Helmet and an Oracle for Jotun in the jungle. This is a bit of a hybrid build. He wants to do some damage. He needs to have enough to threaten the backline, but still be tanky enough to survive these big crazy fights. As I'm analyzing, the fight breaks open again, Mirko.
That Divine Judgment was massive, finds the member, but Chan's gonna be able to trade it back. Onto Sagan, onto Gusta. Kai is still dashing away. Kai is the way of the dragon. Brings King back, locks him down for Jotun to deal the damage back in. Erwin with the G Kundo knocks him up. It's an upset in the making once again, as it's another 4-for-1.
Can they actually push into the base here? It's only Luis. There's more than 20 seconds. They're going in.
Erwin with a flicker combo in the Jeep Kundo. The mini waves needs to be cleared out. Luis is trying his best to actually buy some time. 5 seconds onto the Lunox right now. That's going to be Luis jumping in again. And that's S11 Gaming pulling another stop to upset the odds. RRQ Akira is down Their 33 consecutive wins have been shut down by S11.
That is such a crazy situation here. The fight is so dynamic. They don't really know what's going on. But S11, with the superior burst, with the more dangerous pick of potential going towards Gusta La Gusta, they're able to make it work. This is an upset, and I think we saw the stats earlier. Everyone is wrong. Ankaragai.
I mean, I gotta say, we painted the picture early on. Group stages has been a surprise for everybody.
12 Orcas, and that is just a scary situation to deal with, man.
That is a great point, Arashi. Let's see if that comes to fruition here. But we're jumping into the draft for this game. It's going to be Echo on the blue side, Occupy Thrones on the red. Some of the bands already coming out here. That's the Kai, the Faramis was taken out by Echo. Occupy Thrones so far with a 1-1. Next band going to come out, it's the Carry. So they're focusing on that gold lane option here for Benny Cutie specifically.
They just hate Benny. They don't want Benny to play these marksmen. But hey, you're seeing Echo right now. Their bands are like, hey, Maro, we saw what you did up against Araki Hoshi. It was pretty impressive. So we'll respect it now with the Franco band. The Akai and the Faramis is also respect, right? Especially the Akai, because we've seen that Leo really likes to play the Akai. He's played it 2 times, I believe, in 2 of their games, so 100%.
And he's been playing very well, especially in that retribution department, particularly against Araki Hoshi. He was able to win the vast majority, if not all, of the retribution battles, because even when the Lord or neutral objective was secured by Araki Hoshi, it wasn't on Albert. So it's a very interesting situation, but of course, if they want to go for something more aggressive, having a tank in the jungle can work. A more aggressive tank, though, will be preferable.
I feel like this could be an Eve first pick if they want to go that route. We've seen, the performance so far, and pretty much everybody playing Eve, how well it's been. There it is, right? We've seen the Sanji,
very good.
The outplay potential, and look at that win rate. That was 70% win rate so far for this Eve.
Sanji's probably feeling confident, man. I mean, do you remember the last time he played Yves?
Yeah.
Solo killed Lemon in the mid lane. Why not? Just pick it up again. But from Occupy Thrones, they pick up the Kaja and the Fredrin. Very fast drafts, however. Echo instantly respond to the draft with the Yuzong pick, which is going to be really good because it basically says, hey, Occupy Thrones. Now, you can pick whatever you want in the back line. We'll have 2 members that can constantly dive towards that back line, and one can even kick you back to the team.
And keep in mind the wave clear available right here. Yves, Cho, and Yuzong. That's a lot of dominant laning, and that's a lot of lane pressure that Occupy Thrones need to deal with before they can even attempt to go for a pickoff. The final pick will be a Valentina, but given the circumstances here, I'm not sure how well this will do.
This is reminiscent of Echo's draft when they played RRQ, right? I mean, I know you're nodding over here too. You saw it happening, so I'm wondering if those last 2 picks are something similar here. It would be great if Occupy Thrones can maybe focus on those bands and not let that happen to be the same draft. But already looking at this matchup here as well, between the 2 gold laners, we've got Carry for Benny Cutie, and we've got the Leslie pick here. Now, I feel like, this is, the stats are there, but still, Leslie is a force to be reckoned with if she is allowed to get to the point where she is popping off of that true damage, able to get to the late game here. But one crucial thing is Occupy Thrones need to be able to get there, right? If they can get to the late game and they're rolling, I don't know if they're going to pick the Leslie here, right? But if they want to roll with that, then that is a great option. But like you said, Arashi, Valentina still a highly picked hero, but still we saw the same thing, right? The struggle of Lemon when he was playing against Sanji, trying to get the right ultimates, and then even when he couldn't, Echo did such a good job at holding those ultimates off, right? Staying so far away that it was so difficult to utilize the IMU ultimate for Valentina. And I feel like that is going to be a similar case here for this matchup.
On top of that, right, Sanji's also just a very oppressive mid laner. On this Eve, constantly just poking, clearing, and rotating. Super fast rotations coming in. And sometimes he even splits with JP. JP goes to one lane, and Sanji rotates to the other. There's no weak side of the map in a lot of Echo games because of that dynamic. And now, we're seeing the last bans come through from both Occupy and Echo. It's the Hayabusa and the Joy. Still respecting towards Carl TZ, but you're already seeing right now a Lapu pick, which basically means that the Fredrin will go to the jungle for Occupy Thrones. And for Echo, Now, what do they want to go for? It's still an assassin that they want to go for Carl TZ, or now that you mentioned he's a veteran, he's been playing a lot more utility junglers.
If he goes for utility, it has benefit here, considering that they have a very significant backline. But exactly, if they want to be a threat for the backline of Occupy Thrones in those later stages of the game as well, they need something that can dive in. Because for now, it does look very solid. So many melee or short-range heroes on the side of Occupy Thrones, and they have to walk through all the crowd control on the side of Echo. It's not looking very promising.
Lancelot? Oh, man. Oh, man. Yeah. Naisu was just saying to me.
Yeah, I was wondering what's going on there.
He said Lancelot, but he did not. Yeah, you just.
I meant Ling.
Yeah.
You
my
misread.
bad. My bad.
Lancelot.
Lancelot?
Lancelot.
Lancelot and Herod. Man, all right. So looking at it, honestly, in terms of damage, they've gone it down, right? It's a multi-dimensional draft in that department. They are going to be dealing physical and magical damage, and there's a lot of that. So it's going to be hard for Occupy Thrones to really, build defensively, respecting that kind of damage coming in. Final pick, Beatrix.
This is the thing, though. We've seen this before, right? If they give up that real-world manipulation to the Valentina here from Occupy Thrones, hey, we've got the Herod. We'll Zaman Force in and fight in the box of death. I think that's pretty much what they're going for here. So it also kind of counterplays around having that ultimate available to you.
And on a Beatrix, it's a tough situation when you're dealing with a Yuzong, man. You need some protection, but as it stands, there's only 1 or 2 members that can use their crowd control to try and save Gado, but that's going to be a costly expenditure, especially because with a Yve, right, and with a Harriet available, you need to lock them down to ensure that your team does not get decimated.
Yeah, I mean, these are all great points here. We've seen the lineups for both of these teams. We've got the crowd being hyped up as well. We can hear them behind us, and that is from Occupy Thrones corner, and they're getting ready to go in this second match of the day. Again, crucial match here for Occupy Thrones and Echo ahead of them, but we're going to be jumping into the land of Dawn. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to match number 2, Echo Philippines and Occupy Thrones.
Ooh. Again, I don't know, man. Now that you've mentioned it, Arashi, the caster curse, right? The talent prediction curse. Right now, yeah, there's been a lot of jinxing the last 2 days, man. So we'll see if Echo can break that curse or if Occupy Thrones just gets that momentum, that buff from the curse.
Right, to be fair, on a Ling right here, there's still a lot of crowd control available to just shut him down completely. Divine Judgment, the taunts coming in from Leo, the Terrify coming in from Fury as well. There are options to play around with, but I really feel that there is no, it's a certain case that Gado will have a very difficult time.
Maro, though, already forced to flicker early on here. Fury 77 rotates, again, helping his roamer out, but without that flicker early on, there's not much that he loses. Maro's looking for a cheeky steal. He doesn't get it, but he does get level 2.
Playing with danger there, but Maro, he's going to stick around. He doesn't have the flicker, but early enough that it shouldn't really be too bad of a situation. Now that first turtle that does come up, you'll probably see Echo make a beeline for it and then force probably Occupy Thrones to try to contest that, or they just give it away and stay a little bit safer, right? Early game, try not to let that snowball get out of hand here from Echo, which we've seen them do before, and just allow yourself to build up here for Occupy Thrones. Look at the focus on the bottom side, though. They're going to be looking here for Benny Cutie, looking for a moment. Leo's going to go down.
Yeah, he tries his best to just look for just a CC there, but again, it's not really going to hit for now. Benny's actually going to be able to win out in that trade against Gado, too. So that rotation towards the bottom lane, not really achieving anything at all. It's actually going to be Echo who utilizes that and punishes Occupy Thrones for revealing themselves in the bottom lane without getting anything. And Echo are controlling the turtle side now with the turtle spawning.
Occupy Thrones, I mean, it's not a bad move to try and go for the other side of the map, because let's be real, in the early game, trying to contest Echo with all this crowd control, all these AoE abilities, it's going to be a bit foolish of an attempt unless they can get some crazy pickoff. So they go for the play on the gold lane. As you said, Mirko, it's unfortunate they were unable to get anything, not even the turret gold. So for Echo, that's a small victory, one of many, most likely for this game. And I think when it's level 4, ultimates are being used to actually engage fights.
Maro's going to be caught, has the flicker, gets out again, and someone else used the flicker here. It's Gado in the gold lane.
Yeah, I was just wondering, about this matchup here in the gold lane specifically. Gatto, they have the news, right? There's no flicker available here. Gatto's got to be careful. That's why we see Morrow making his way too. But he should be careful.
Walks up, gets knocked up, and that's first blood over to Benny QT.
He had the information, right? You called it as well, Mirko. Flicker was down. They played around that, and now they also gave that kill to Benny Cutie, right? He's running that Herathon gold lane, has the mystery shop here. So the scaling there is going to be in his favor. It's going to make it really hard for Gatto.
Way the Dragon and Divine Judgment locking Carl TZ down, and it's Maru who picks up a kill. But look who's here, all the way for the XP lane. Sanford with the Petrify, getting Leo petrified as well to pick up a double kill as Hulk rotates over to the mid lane with a big fire. He's angry. Sanji's going to be stunned up. Hulk picks up a kill and trades it back. But somewhere, it's still Echo who has the better trade.
Hulk smash.
Hulk smash coming in. That's a lot of damage that they can't ignore. And at least until later on, when they have some more items to deal with, this is what that Lapu Lapu can do. The Yuzong is a dangerous threat in the back line, but so is the Lapu Lapu. And in a way, a lot more dynamic as well.
Way the Dragon by Fury77, stealing it away. Just canceling out the engage or the pick potential that JP was looking for.
Yeah, I mean, you have to constantly be worried if you are Echo about the Divine Judgment pickoffs, which we've seen Morrow do, right? He's going to constantly press that situation in favor for Occupied Thrones. That's the tool they have. They're doing it here.
Morrow with Divine Judgment, the flicker. JP does the same, and he brings Gatto back. The Spawn Force was popped in, and the Muse Passion is not enough to take Benny down. It wasn't even enough to take him low. Echo get the turtle too, and it is a disaster for Occupied Thrones. Echo right now controlling the game, 2.3k gold lead.
It's a 2v3 outplay on the back of JP, just really identifying who he needs to kick under the turret, and I think that would just benefit them so much. Benny Cutie now 2-0. He has the mystery shop as well, so he'll be scaling a lot quicker than I think Occupied Thrones might expect. And on Harith, that's going to be very difficult because, again, we've mentioned it already, the lack of crowd control from the side of Occupied Thrones will be an issue in that mid-game.
JP, again, just so lethal on this Joe. Gets the way the Dragon down onto Leo. JP's going to be caught low, but that's going to be called TZ, who jumps in with the time of the blades. Also has the follow-up from the Spawn Force from Benny. Fury77 forced to flicker out, and Echo, it's just Echo everywhere.
Morrow, though, he's still holding on to the Divine Judgment, but they give it the recall here. That's the thing, right? I mean, I feel like if you're Occupied Thrones, you've already tried a lot here in the bottom side. Gatto, unfortunately, is 0-3. He is falling behind in terms of farm and everything else and itemization, so it makes it even harder for him. And that's why you see Echo, right? They know this weak point here, and they're going to keep pressing it until at least they get that tier 1. And that's what we see even JP doing here. But let's take a look at the items on how this is all resulted out. Rashi.
Right, I mean, it's such a high-paced game. Benny Cutie at this point has a Feather Heaven and the Divine Glaive, so a lot of damage and a lot of DPS, not just burst damage, but actually he's going to be walking into a bit of a trap, but JP turns it around yet again.
With the way the Dragon, but it's going to be Maru who finds the Divine Judgment onto Benny, who's able to actually pop this Spawn Force, looking for a trade. It's just JP who gets taken down in the mid lane. Sanji flickers forward. Hulk's going to be taken down with a basic attack to fade away from Sanji.
I like to call that the athletic flicker, right? Because so we've seen Sanji do that how many times now? He flickers in, gets someone really low, and then it's literally one auto attack for the kill.
It's down to the wire with these players, man. It's unfortunate for Occupied Thrones. They get a small victory, but now, without the mid lane turret, Echo can extend their pressure into the jungle, and now it thought that Gatto was having a difficult time. Leo will start feeling that pressure as well, but look at the play.
JP, again, finding Morrow. That's going to be the real world inflation popped in. JP going to be chunked there as Leo jumps in, looking for that red tree. Does not get it. It's still JP. Wow.
JP doing everything here, and that is the zoning potential that Echo has. We talk a lot about the range differential. Having a real world manipulation means that they can do things like this.
That's the Tempest of Blades, knocking Morrow up. Carl TZ styling here in the game. 9-3 for Echo as Benny actually moves forward. Fury's going to be taken low, taken down to the mega kill. Sanford jumps in, the way the Dragon is there too, and that's the passive. It's all just fadeaways and pure style from Echo.
On the shoulders of Daddy JP. We're seeing Echo just make play after play here. It's 6.5k now, almost 8 minutes into the game, And this is tough, right? If you're Occupy Thrones, like I was saying, Gato, that gold lane, who you hope that you have available to come online for the late game, is not going to be there anytime soon. BOD just being picked up here 8 minutes in.
And keep in mind, Carl Teasy, he is doing something we've seen before, the killing spree on that link. So he is out for blood. And Benny Cutie, already a Holy Crystal at 8 minutes? What? That is a lot of damage. And as we mentioned already, Gato will not be having a good time at all. So much damage, so much range from Sanji, but also all the dive coming in from the rest of the 4 players from Echo Philippines.
Right now, focus on the top side. They're going to get that tier 2. All in the meantime, waiting 30 seconds for that next Lord to come up here. Again, at this point, this is a massive lead for Echo Philippines. Occupy Throne's going to be forced to find any pick they could potentially get here. But now you're going to see even the pressure for that purple buff. If it comes up, Conceal Play going to come out. Nothing committed just yet. But Occupy Thrones trying to turtle up here in the tier 2. Meanwhile, Echo just trying to buy time for that next Lord, for the first Lord of the game to come up.
Again, right? Echo, they got the lead. They're not really going to go for these crazy engages because they don't need to. It's unnecessary, right? They already have control over most of the map right now. They can just constantly be playing around with the Lord, forcing Occupy Thrones to walk out of the base. And when they do so, that 7.4k gold lead speaks for itself.
And you can still abuse the fact that Carl Teasy is just so mobile. He is still getting resources right now, but JP turns it around.
Where the Dragon, but Divine Judgment comes in. That's going to be JP taken down, but the backline's going to be targeted down by Sanford and Benny QT with his Amon Force. 1 for 1, Roamer for gold. It's Echo who takes the better trade once again. Leo going to be able to taunt Sanji up. Maro's going to be taken low. Carl TZ jumping in. Ooh. Maro flickering out of the real world equation. The Appraiser's Wrath was so close to getting Sanji, but he's still here. He calculated that one. Flickers out to safety. Occupy Thrones have lost their jungler.
Echo is on a mission right now, and they understand that Gato is part of their win condition. We saw that Sanford was able to actually get on top of multiple members earlier in that fight, but he ignores everyone and heads straight for Gato. That is dedication. That is a man of focus, determination, and sheer will.
JP is a man of violence. Oh, but there's another kick. Sanford, they're going to be targeted by Hulk as he smashes towards the back line, but Gato just gets melted down by Carl Teasy. What is he supposed to do? He just can't, withstand that damage anymore, man.
I mean, 10,000K at this point, right? 10 minutes in.
10,000K, that's a lot of gold.
10,000K, that is a lot of gold. And they're marching, right? I mean, you got to handle this Lord, Occupy Thrones. That's the question. Can they even hold on this long enough?
They have so much high ground damage as well coming in from Echo Philippines. And I can't help but feel like Occupy need to play a bit more defensively, but Echo won't let it happen.
JP again with an engage, but will be caught, but Sanford finds the Petrify onto 3, the Furious dive onto 2, and a kill on Gato. Mid lane base are going to be taken down now by Echo as they're looking to end the game. Benny just styling with his Mon Force under the base, under everything. Leo is still not able to find a kill. It's a legendary by Benny, and it's Echo who are still undefeated in groups.
They just stomp down, march through the base, understanding that they have all the tools available, and they are rationing their utility so well. They don't waste any spells. There's not a single moment in this high-action, high-paced game where we thought, wow, that was a bit overkill. Everything is rationed to perfection, and Occupy Thrones, man, they just got outclassed.
It was 12,000K.
12,000.
But jokes aside, Echo, disciplined, calm and collected. They're very well known, right? They have accomplished a lot as a team. But S11 clearly making a statement from the first series that they had. And now as we jump into the draft here, for this third match of the day, already you can see it is going to be S11 on the blue side. We've got Team Hawk on the red. Bans coming out here, Eve and Fanny are going to be taken out. And I think that's great, right? You take out the Fanny here, you don't allow Gary to unleash on that. But I'm surprised too, Team Hawk decides to take out the Valentina.
I was about to say, right when we were talking about S11 being popular, a lot of players, a lot of fans are now rooting for them. Have you seen the players vote in-game in Mlbb? They're like the second highest, dude.
Wow.
Yeah, RQ's number one.
RQ's number one.
RQ and S11's like not really close because RQ just got so much more votes, but S11 second, dude. Argentina, Probably because of the World Cup.
I was going to say,
impressive.
very passionate, just fans. I mean, like not just esports, but even sports in general. So not surprised, right? You're gonna see this rally effect for S11, especially as they go into the knockout stage.
For sure. Well, for Team Hawk right now, they understand that they have to contend with a lot of crowd control if they allow the Kaja as well as the Valentina to fall into the hands of S11. So, considering they want to be reactive, they want to make sure that S11 does not have too many playmaking tools as well, just in case it overwhelms them. S11 though, they understand that if there's kite back, there's going to be a 1-1, so they ban that option out of the game.
I'm wondering if one of these teams grabs the Kadita early on, right? I mean, we've seen them both play it, and especially with the performance that Chan had, where he started that early game very quickly, stacking, 2-3 kills on that Kadita. I would be surprised if it's either let through this draft or not even banned out, because both teams do like to play around with that. So still, too, with this last ban coming up here from Team Hawk, they've already focused on, the Valentine, the Kaja pick. Glue. Do they go for Glue? Actually, it's going to be the Joy, who we've seen more often than I feel like now in the jungle. I think we can say we've seen Joy more in the jungle picked up here. So, interesting, right? First phase, bans done. What is the first pick here going to be for S11, Arashi?
I think it's going to be something with a bit more utility for sure, because Glue, you see that their Glue makes a lot of sense for sure. Of course, the flex potential is still also a big factor here. It does seem like they do not want to be denied, right? That Yi pick is just so annoying. So I think they want something that can just go in the back line. We saw that the Yu song was so devastating, but I'm not sure if they're going to pick it at least like first pick.
Yeah, I mean, it's way too expensive to let go of Glue, right? You mentioned the Yi, but they've already banned it here. So, again, Team Hawk, they can respond. We've seen teams respond to the Glue pick with a fair miss because of the additional damage you do towards a split. But even then, Glue's still super annoying, right? It's all about how you use the slam, and honestly, it's how you space out in the team fights. That's how you differentiate the good Glue players from the average ones, right? And I believe right now, from looking at how Papa Dog usually plays on his sustainable heroes, this is his style of hero, right? Picking up the Glue, super strong, already basically guarantees a strong side XP laner for their team.
I mean, not only that, but we saw how he played, the high and dry Grok, right? So I feel like Glue works better for him here, but already the answer, the response from Team Hawk is going to be the Cho pick and the carry. We've seen carry quite devastating in a lot of matches. The damage can be unreal, especially when you get that attack speed built up and the itemization and everything. And then, of course, Cho, someone that we see utilize the Way of Dragon there's so many ways you can use it. Disengage, engage, you can pull the flashy plays, you don't have to. The peel is there too, which obviously is something that you really need for the carry to shine, because you can only rely so much on the dash and also the Wind of Nature, right? But if you have what you're seeing similarly, the great Cho players, they know how to peel, they know how to disengage, and they know when to engage. So still, I think there's something that needs to be drafted for Team Hawk to complement this Cho pick. But on the other side, S11 going to take out the Leslie again. 0% win rate, but it is still a devastating hero late game.
You're up against some true damage on carry. Hey, someone else has true damage, and that's Leslie, right? They pick it up, they want to play for the late game, and they also picked up a Lolita that can stop these projectiles from going towards that back line, right? So they're basically trying to give more space towards their own back line here. The big question for me is right now, S11 Gaming in the mid lane, they're going to be severely, the hero pool is going to be hit in the second phase of the draft by Team Hawk for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very important lane, but of course S11 has a lot of options to play around with. If they want to be a bit more proactive, as Nicer mentioned, a Kadita might make sense. If they want to go for range, the far side is available, but we talked about this Yuzong and how oppressive it can be. Now you're on a Leslie against a Yuzong. It's a very difficult situation to be in. But on that point, on the gold laner still, the carry and the Leslie matchup in the late game, it's a bit dangerous because pure DPS-wise, carry will outdamage. But if you miss position, right, Leslie functions as an assassin as well, and you can get one shot before you can even pop the Wind of Nature.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Arashi, there's a lot of options available for you if you're S11. And specifically in the mid lane too, you got to be careful on how you approach it. You do have I mean, again, contesting the Kadita would be great, but also that you still have available Xavier. Never mind. It is banned out. So that's going to be taken out. I was going to say Xavier because specifically, same situation, right? You have a great peel mechanic available to you with the Mystic Field. You also have that low cooldown Dawning Light as the game goes on, able to chunk down members here from Team Hawk. So, I mean, Leslie as well. But it's the same thing. You have to protect this Leslie because you have Lolita, which is great, but still you want to have a multi-dimensional kind of option for you to use.
You know how they can do that here? If I was S11 Gaming, honestly, look at this composition, right? We've seen this before, too. S11 banned out the Farsa, and so far it's going exactly as I'm thinking, but they might want to go for the Lunox here, right? If there's anyone who can really peel for the Leslie in the back line, it's someone that does damage, that can melt the backline presence or the backline threat to them, which is the Yuzong, right? That's the only way to peel from a Yuzong. Yeah, I mean, technically you can go for a Diggy, but they already have a Lolita, right? So the real answer from me right now for S11 is picking up something like a Lunox that can really melt down the Yuzong, so it just stops him from going towards Leslie.
A secondary damage source in case they want to tunnel vision. It's a bit of how we saw earlier, right? When you have two very solid sources of damage, you have no idea which one to focus down. If you focus one, the other just goes out of control. And if there's only one tool available in the side of Team Hawk to shut down a single hero on the back line, if you have two from S11, it might be quite difficult. So now, the question is again, for Team Hawk, do they want to try and zone away the Leslie using long range, or do they want to go for an assassin? They can just back up the dive coming in from the whole team.
You know what? I really like how Team Hawk is like, you know what? It's fine. We'll also ban the mid laners, despite not having a mid laner themselves. Yeah. Because Mon is such a dynamic player, has a lot of heroes in his arsenal, right? We've seen him play the Eudora in the grand finals in MPL Malaysia, so at this point, I'm just waiting for him to pull off something like even the Diggy mid again.
I was going to say, when you mentioned Diggy earlier, I was like, well, you know, possibly we could potentially see Diggy mid. It has worked before. Yep. And again, Kadita still on the table if they want to take it with that burst damage. It gives you another option here for Team Hawk to focus on the backside. But so far, they're going to hold off on that mid lane pick. They do lock in the jungler here. We're going to see Ling again, but right away, S11 going to lock in Karina here. So this is another unique hero coming out, and I mean, how is this going to work out, Arashi? Is this a solid choice for them?
Well, the early the Karina will have a bit more of an advantage. I mean, he can block the basic attacks as well coming in from the carry, so that is a factor for sure. But looking at the comp right now, I fear for the safety of the Leslie, man, with a Ling and a Yuzong on the field, but I hope you guys at home can hear.
You get thrown off here.
We have chants and drums coming into the studio.
Yep, the morale.
Yeah, I believe they were yelling Team Hawk.
I think so.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so again, Team Hawk, all the way from Malaysia, right here in Indonesia, in the Bali United studio, they are ready, man, with the support coming in for their team. Let's see, it's the Harith pickup that's going to be in the mid lane, I believe.
Yeah,
for S11.
Yeah.
So again, it's not going to be that Lunox that we mentioned, but it is a magic damage dealer here.
Still great. Still a great option. Yeah.
I agree. It's still great, but again, there's a lot of lockdown, right? There's that Way the Dragon, single target, lockdown. I think Chan might have to go for that Purify.
But technically, think about that overlap scenario, right? The Zombie Force, then you have the Numenon Blast. Like, you have a lot of options there.
I told you.
Play around it. You called it. You're an analyst now.
I'm an analyst now.
All right, stood up for that. I know. I share your excitement here, Mirko. There's Eudora.
All right. I mean, we talk about reacting. We talk about crowd control. Well, Eudora provides that, and in that mid lane, we talked about how important the control, the threat can be in allowing rotation. So with a Eudora that can let one-shot squishy heroes later on in the mid game, Team Hawk has a chance to just take control over the game outright.
Man, one thing I love about Eudora is just the amount of burst potential, right? You also have a great stun option, a CC, which still is paired up really well with the Cho, like we were saying, have that option available to you. And just take them to the Thunderdome if you want to, right? It's something that can really work out here. But S11 as well, across the board, they've got that Prio glue pick that we've seen either work or it doesn't. And still, I mean, they have a lot of options to work around with. But I think it ultimately is going to start also in the jungle. But the band is going, and ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the third match here. Can S11 do it again versus Team Hawk?
Man, that Eudora pick. Oh, I love it here, man. The Eudora is going to have so much value, right? You want to lock down Chan, you want to lock down Kai, and especially Jotun, who's now going to really struggle when he jumps in. He might have to go for like a magical defense item early, but I have to take a look at his... Oh, he went for the mystery shot. That's not going to be a tank Karina. It's a full damage Karina. At least it should be.
It's an assassin Karina attempting to burst down the Squishier members like Panda, like Gary. But of course, before he can even get there, Lola needs to be dealt with first. And this EXP lane matchup, whoever comes out on top will determine the dynamic of the rotations, right? Because at any point, if during the course of a fight, a Yuzong shows up with the full combo, with a Petrify, that is just dangerous. And Glue can also wreak havoc. So that is a huge factor in deciding who has the upper hand for now.
Yeah, I think right now, you know, Team Hawk gives the Lithuander away. They don't want to really chance it because early on, without, you know, the Way of the Dragon, without the ultimate even from Man here, it's tough, right? Flicker in, though.
Yeah, unfortunately, when you are concealed on Leslie, that second ability, the stun from Man, won't come out. So he actually kind of miscalculated. He should have used the first ability to just reveal him first. Was out of range by the time he realized. So, again, a bit of a misplay. That's a flicker burn, but chance to be taken low, taken down even here.
What a rotation.
Use the Purify, but hey, that's the damage, just melting him down.
You can't purify damage, my guy. That is the best crowd control, right? Death.
You can't.
That is the best crowd control. So, it seems like Team Hawk, despite the reputation for being more adaptive, they have taken matters into their own hands, but S11 still has control in that turtle pit.
Slick movement by Kai, man.
I mean, at this point, that little early first blood from Team Hawk should set themselves up for a decent turtle take here. As S11 is going to start it up, though.
Black Dragon formed by Lola, zoning Jotun away. Has the Petrify, is going to be stunned up. Here's Jotun, jumps into the back line onto Min right now, and that's going to be the damage coming in. The burst was able to take Jotun down. Min's going to be taken low, has the flicker to get out as Man is jumping in. Gary finds retribution as he pops the top of the blaze. Man picking up a double kill as Gary just slides across the place, picking up his sword and getting out.
That looks so messy, but the crowd control yet again prevails. Min was caught out of position. He has the Way of the Dragon, but he wasn't sure when and where to use it. So he was moving around, but because there's so many other tools available, because Lola was able to just push everyone away and wrestle control from S11 in the beginning, he was still able to get a very impactful presence in that fight. Team Hawk right now, they have the tools available. Can they push the tempo hard enough, though? That is the main question. Because S11, they are still having a lot of crowd control, especially later on in the mid-game with all the AoE.
Well, you're asking if they can press the situation even further here. Again, Man on this Eudora pick, having those 2 kills, the last worship as well. The burst damage is already there, and it's going to be there even, like, harder at this early point in the game. Now, you can see already the focus, too. S11 knows they got to focus on Panda. This is the key to victory here. So if they can pick up a kill here, kind of put pressure on gold lane constantly, that is one of the best case scenarios for them. Again, they want to allow Kai to do what he did in the first match, where he just unleashes mid to late game.
Oh my god, Erwin got the stun on the wrong target. He hit the minion, and now it's the collapse over to punish them. Erwin mistapped on the minion, and it's going to be Man who picks up a killing spree too. Bursting Jotun down.
What a disaster for S11. It looked so good. They were about to domesticate the Panda, but it did not work out. The backup comes in, the knockups comes in. That is the power of crowd control. And we talked about that burst coming in from Man. This Eudora is deadly right now. And not to mention, if you focus too much onto Panda, Gary can still be a big factor, but
Everyone's gonna get kicked back. He wanted to go for something here, has him on blast, but doesn't have the flicker, and it's gonna be Erwin who gets taken down. Gary picks up the kill, and it's another kill over to the Malaysian champions who are now in full control.
Full control, 3.4k, 5k gold lead here. This turtle should be theirs as well, and, you know, questionably, Erwin, I mean, he was trying to just maybe buy time for that turret, but better to let it go because now this is one objective after the other going to the hands of Team Hawk here. S11's going to have their work cut out for them early on through this game into the mid game. And still, what is the answer here for Man? Man having a massive game already. This is like what Chan had in their match in match 1, right? So this is a flippy-floppy situation, but also somewhat expected from Team Hawk. They're going to put pressure where they know they need to be. Min, though,
it's going to be stunned up. That's about it, right? There's no real threat right now from S11 in terms of damage. Chan still needs to scale. Kai as well, but who doesn't need to scale? It's Man on the Eudora. That's an early game mage for a reason. Erwin just got melted.
That is a terrifying amount of damage onto the roamer. If your roamer can be one-shot like that, that allows Team Hawk to just deny any kind of inquisitive maneuvers coming in from Erwin. He cannot find vision, and with that control, with those threats, they're able to get the turret, but Man here is the main target for S11.
There you go, everything used, and still it's Mon surviving, but Chan jumps in with his Mon Force, picking up a shutdown and putting some gold in his pockets, collecting it. Lola still with the Black Dragon form now, going to be out of there, going to be immobilized down, but he's still able to get out with a Furious Dive. Meanwhile, in the back line is going to be actually Jotun, who gets kicked back to the team, has the maneuverability to get out for a bit before Panda finds the kill. Gary now still trying to look for more damage, but it's S11 who decides to back off, and it's an equal trade in the end.
that could have been way worse, right? I mean, for either team there was a lot going on, but still, it was pretty much an even trade so far, and that's the thing. The thing about Team Hawk is the pressure from having a Eudora, the pressure from having a Cho is showing for S11. S11 has to work around this, right? But again, time could be in their favor if they can get to the point where mid-late game, they've got some farm. Kai hasn't died yet. This is very reminiscent, like I said, to previous game where we were kind of counting out Kai, but then he flipped the tables for S11 in the previous matchup. So this could still happen for them.
True.
And Chan as well. Chan, he needs to continue to build up. You saw the Zaman Force. If Team Hawk gets out of place, Zaman Force works so well to find the kills that you need with this Harith or even set up the rest of the team here. But already another turtle being worked on Team Hawk. They should be able to just secure this with a breeze.
S11 going for a trade, it seems, but with only 2 members down here, it's still very vulnerable, and Team Hawk might just make a play here. No, they go for the turret, and that's about it. They're playing it patient and disciplined, keeping it clean, because later on, they can still have so many more options, man. They can use Gary to split push as well. We've seen that happen. And now here is the squad, right? Looking for a play, but Lola might be the one starting it off.
Uh-oh, there you go. Yeah, Lola just dishing out a bit of damage to act as poke. But with this, the way they're trading on the map, right, S11 sure are buying a bit more time. Erwin jumps in onto Lola. They're trying to actually collapse onto with his Zaman Force too. Lola taking very little bit away. The Dragon connects onto Jotun. His Chan still able to actually get out. Look at him now. Blast connecting onto 2 members. Mon still able to flicker out. Papadao gonna be knocked up. Chan still gonna be able to survive, but it's scary. Slicing and dicing with the help of Panda to get the damage done and to take Erwin and Chan down. Team Hawk now looking to capitalize as they are going to be able to take the mid lane tier 1.
The snipe won't be enough, and that is what discipline gets you. S11, they saw Lola, they figured, let's go for that pickoff because they are in such desperate situations. But of course, they are able to secure the kill, but at what cost? Team Hawk has so many more dangerous members available, and look at the items right here. Panda, already with the corrosion sight and the golden staff, that is a lot of attack speed and a lot of utility that can be brought into the team. And Gary on this lane with the Berserker's Fury and the Windtalker, that's a lot of hits and by default a lot of crits as well. So they can't really let these members go around without getting crowd control, without threatening them with everything.
Yeah, again, you know, with Kai not dying yet, that's a great situation to be in. But what we're seeing from Team Hawk is that backline dive is so strong. You have Gary, you have Lola to do that. And man, if he decides to flicker in and just throw out that full combination for Eudora, then Kai could be easily taken out here. So still, S11 buying time, they might be better off just giving up this first Lord, because if they actually contest it or try to fight it, they're most likely going to lose the fight here. So Team Hawk starts up the first Lord of the game.
That's a very great point, because if there's a big messy fight, Man can output the bulk of his role in the fight instantly. Whereas for the other side, if Chan wants to mimic the same kind of success, he needs to stay alive. He needs to take a lot more risks. So Man has the quote-unquote easier hero, but that also means that as long as he's tactical and smart about his decisions in those big fights, who he targets, is just a more clear-cut solution.
S11 are still waiting for that power spike to hit, right?
Yeah.
They are banking on Chan and Kai. These two members are the two members that need the items to actually carry the game right now. Jotun, I think right now he just needs to act as an assassin, right? He comes in late, but if Team Hawk keep on just suffocating them this way, S11 have no way to actually get gold. Like, look at this. The orange buff is actually stolen away by Lola.
Oh, they're going in.
What is going on here?
Mid lane.
And even in top lane, it's 2 kills on the board. Chance jumping back and forth, but he doesn't find a trade. It's still Team Hawk, who just wins it out 2-0.
Okay, we missed that for a second there, but 2 did go down for S11. And Lord now on the bottom side, they're going to have to be careful here how they approach this Black Dragon form.
Papa Dog, nowhere to go here. Pops the split, trying to buy some time, but the damage comes through to really just melt him down. Chan, what is on for, is actually jumping onto the Furious Dive. Luckily, he did not get knocked up. He is going to be able to clear the Lord out. 10 minutes in, base turret down in the bottom lane.
Team Hawk, I think they could have pressured a bit more there, but as we mentioned, keeping it clean, keeping it disciplined, knowing that they have the lead, but they also have a lot more early game options, so there's no point in taking unnecessary risks and letting S11 perhaps have an opportunity for a comeback. Look at the players' gold right here, Gary and Panda, all the way up there, and despite the fact that Kai has been left relatively untouched, he is still not as wealthy as Jotun, which is not ideal, right? At this point, the Karina is not the main carry that you can rely on to actually decide the fate of the game.
The items, right? That's what I really want to see for Kai right now. Does he have at least just the...
I think he's got 2. I think he's got Berserker's Fury and maybe Endless Battle. Not sure if he was building towards that yet. But, I mean, you saw the damage dealt. He's the highest there, but you saw how the discrepancy between the gold from him and even someone like Panda, right? I think it was around 2,000 gold difference. And so maybe in another 3-4 minutes, we'll see Kai pop off. Now we can take a look at the items. There it is. It is going to be that Berserker's Fury with the Endless Battle here, working on the next. So if he's going, is he going BOD here, Arashi? For the third?
I think BOD makes sense, especially with how you want to be playing, right? Just burst damage, assassinations, quote unquote. But Team Hawk right now is just zoning everyone. I mean, Kai has the steel leg plates, but it's so dangerous for him to be roaming around right here because Gary and Lola can very easily take him out. The steel leg plates alone will not be enough to secure, I don't know, his life in the big fights. And look at how Team Hawk is positioning, right? They're just looking for opportunities, moments where perhaps S11 will overextend just a bit, and they have the tools to just punish that. But now that the Lord is up, it's a completely different story.
I think you still just give this Lord away. You defend in your base.
Yeah.
You know, it's your 8K behind here in gold, and you don't have much movement around the map. No much space to move around in. So this is the thing, though. Even if you turtle up here for S11 and you try to protect Kai the best you can, man is still the issue, right? He could flicker in at any point and just lock down Kai. There's the Divine Glaive. That's even more big damn at this point. It's tough. It's tough here for S11, but they're going to have to defend against this Lord as soon as it spawns, and the Onslaught Siege from Team Hawk at 9K ahead from S11.
Now the question is, can they defend, right? With the amount of damage output and pick potential and even siege from Team Hawk, are S11 Gaming going to be able to withstand this? Arashi?
It's going to be very tough, man. I mean, if their core members don't get caught up in the initial assault, I think there's a chance, right? You can see the damage is starting to come through, but of course, with so much crowd control available, Team Hawk can just even zone and not even commit to a fight, and that will allow them to take down multiple structures or even end the game with good lane manipulation.
No conceal already. It's popped in by Min. That's going to be a resource valuable towards S11 as Papa Dog tries his best to zone the other members away. Erwin with an not blast, but it's going to be Min who kicks him away. Still, base turret is up. Gary jumps in for the Tempest of Blade. Chance to be caught and he's going to be taken down. Unstoppable picked up by Panda already. That's the mid laner gone. One of the high ground defense members is no longer alive for S11. Man flickering forward, trying to get Kai right now. Is Kai still able to actually get out? Lola getting out of harm's way right now. Man's going to be able to dish out the damage, but he's going to be taken down in the end by Kai. He's still in the back line, dealing a lot. Dealing that true damage. That's going to be Min caught. Double kill over to Kai, who's still trying to dish out the damage. And now you can see that he is starting to hurt. He is going to be able to dish out more as he's hunting for Panda. Panda picks up a godlike, flickers out, and Team Hawk have taken all 3 base turrets.
They've taken all 3 base turrets, but they gave several kills in the process. Of course, it's not a defeat. They have so much macro pressure right now, but S11, they need that influx of gold, and it comes into the right hands kind of, so they have a chance right here. But of course, with 10k gold difference, it's going to be very difficult for them to get a victory in the big team fight unless something crazy happens, a pickoff, unless they do something crazy that Team Hawk can just not see coming.
I mean, even looking at the player head-to-head here, we already know Kai is going to be the saving grace here for S11 if they can turn this around. He picked up the BOD about 4 minutes ago. I was like, you know, they need to buy 4 minutes. They've done that, right? They did have a successful defense in their base. That's step number 1 here. If they want to go ahead and either find a pick-off of their own before that next Lord comes up, that's probably what they're going to try to do, get in position here. That will be crucial for S11 to turn this game around. They've just got to be careful because the base is fully exposed. They've got no inhibitor turrets left. That's why you have Papa Donk parking up here on the top side. Knows that Gary will be splitting around the map here, but in just a couple seconds, Lord now going to be up, and they've got to be careful on how they approach it.
That fight that S11 technically won was without Chan. Mindo looking for that position, goes on to Erwin. That's going to be Lola jumping in. Chan's going to be able to pop that Zaman Force. Popped up, and that's the unstoppable by Gary. Jotun tries to look for a kill, but will fall instead. Gary's going to be taken low, but the damage coming from Kai's. That's the Erwin melted down by Panda. Still Kai in the back, but will be petrified. Knocked up and taken down by Panda and Lola. It's a double kill by the Black Dragon, and now it's time for Team Hawk to march slowly up against one member from S11. Papa Dog all alone. The miracle play will not happen as Team Hawk will be able to secure their first win at M4, silencing S11.
What a performance, man. Everything just came in so well. They understood the macro decisions. They knew that S11 will be inquiring to see where they were. Are they going to be on the Lord? And they just go for the blockage. They went in behind them and completely zoned them away from their base. They did a great job defending when their backs were against the base, but the moment they ventured out, Team Hawk were waiting for the opportunity. They used the Lord strategically to bait out the members from S11, and they completely take them out.
At jungle position, but I don't know, it doesn't seem like it's Bray's flavor, as here you go, ladies and gentlemen. We are going straight into the drafting phase where Echo Philippines are on the blue side and RSG SG on the red.
Personally, I'm really excited for this match because one of these up-and-coming, these rising stars, especially from Singapore, is going to be Baby Cakes. He's been talked about so long and so very often. His biggest test is going up against Benny QT, who is one of the bigger win conditions for the side of Echo. So if their draft is going to be orientated based on what we're seeing so far towards that bottom side of the map, sorry, the gold lane of the map, this could be very frustrating for Benny QT specifically, which opens up many options for people like Sanford, like we saw earlier today.
That's the thing, right? I mean, Baby Cakes, a very young talent, and deep Benny QT, though. And he's new, but he is very, very talented as well. Can he withstand the pressure? Bans though, Diggy, Kaja, and Martis ban out from the side of Echo, RSG. Bans out the Prio more, Enjoy, and as well as that 1-1, taking their time in their last ban, so that's a good thing.
It's a respect ban, right? We see the Martis being taken away from RSG by Echo, realizing that Bray did use this in the past, so they are starting to limit the possible picks that Bray can bring here in the Land of Dawn. But you can see the last ban coming through. The Yves is going to be taken now, but that leaves the carry for Echo once again into the hands of Benny QT.
Yep, that's totally fine. Starting off, most people can either start off with the glue or with the carry. If you go with the carry, at least you have an answer for glue, who has been overwhelmingly popular here so far during the group stages. Now, the question is whether or not RSGSG is looking to counter draft or play for their own strategy. Based on what we saw in previous games and the overall standings from Echo, it doesn't matter what the enemy does. We're going to play our strategy whether you like it or not. You have to play around us.
Exactly, and I think I love that confidence. I like that philosophy from the side of Echo, right? They have the first pick as well, a very good setup to play around for themselves, sticking with their identity. Now RSG will respond with a Fredrin pick, who is very, very popular here in M4. regardless, right? Carry counters Fredrin, they still pick that up. But a very quick response here from Echo. Called easy. No, Echo picked up Valentina.
Now that's the thing, right? Because I thought RSG would have picked up the Valentina with the Fredrin, but no, they opted for the Lolita first. And we're gonna see, oh no, am I seeing that Echo picked up the Cho?
Yup. Expect to see some staple plays coming out from Echo's side. However, based on what we're seeing so far, I'm looking at RSG. The fact that they picked up Lolita so early on, especially when all you saw was carry, does beg the question, are they looking to deny? I'm expecting Beatrix maybe to be coming out here for the side of RSG. There is a chance they could be locking in EXP laners, but I feel like that gives off too much. So mid laner is most likely. And here we go. There we go. Farsa already locked in the artillery mage to make sure that Valentina, you want to steal my ult? I'm going to punish you for it.
Not really popular here, Farsa and M4, but sometimes picked up. And there you go. The ban towards Yuzong, a very critical ban. They're realizing that Farsa is very vulnerable if the Yuzong is on the opposing side. But Echo responds with a rather quick ban as well. And that Harith. Now, what do you think about Harith, Gideon?
So far, I think Harith is actually not that bad. Again, if you want to play a little bit more passively in the lane, you absolutely can do so. His 1v1 potential is so very good, especially when he gets his first item. It really depends on the situation, because some matches are a lot harder than others, but with your range and the way that you time your spells, you can really manipulate the waves in your favor to maintain the advantage and slowly overcome the odds when your opponents hit their own 2-item power spike, for an example.
I agree, but the one thing that I noticed about Harith is that he's very susceptible to CC. So
yes,
that was really utilized in the previous match that we saw. But coming back into the drafts here, we do see an Akai being banned out from the side of RSG, as well as the Claude ban from Echo. So far, Baby Cakes, he has used the Claude. They're starting to limit Baby Cakes' options right now. And with the current lineup that he has, right, Fredrin, Lolita, Farsa, against the carry, the Valentina, and the Cho, what is the correct gold laner to you?
It's kind of tough to say, but Benedetta gets locked in for the side of RSGSG. Now it begs the question whether Benedetta is going to go into the jungle or into the EXP lane. Based on what we've seen so far, we should expect it to go into the EXP. And Echo, so very smart. They want to say, hey, even if we were expecting glue, but if you want Benedetta, that's totally fine. Now, no matter what marksman you pick, you're always going to be under that threat, and Lolita can't do anything about it.
Adding more pressure as well to the Farsa, right? You already have the Cho that can just target that Farsa, perhaps forcing that Farsa to even use Purify, but add also Grok, that Feather Airstrike can be easily cancelled. Fanny, though, comes in and picks up twice, still 0%, and they revive the win rate.
Oh, that last pick, Fanny, though, in the hands of Carl TZ himself. This is looking awfully dangerous, honestly, because RSG, they weren't equipped for this. They weren't able to draft against this. They don't have the CC to quite pin him down. Without the Franco, without that reliable source of CC, it's going to be difficult to shut down this Fanny. And the only thing that they could do was choose the gold laner, and the gold laner is Beatrix.
Yeah, you could see it on the faces of RSG. They know that this draft is particularly difficult to pull off with what we're seeing coming in from Echo. It's all about timing, and it's all about finding the right opportunities, which is not exactly within the playstyle of RSG overall. They like that structure, and if you break out of that structure, man, it gets very chaotic very quickly.
So let's see here. Again, composition-wise, it is going to be very balanced. It's going to be up to the early game. No. I mean hero power-wise. But early game, it is all towards Echo.
Yeah, he's got a Dragon Balls. I can literally see when the camera's off, he pulls up his Dragon Ball Z Power Scouter. He's just like, oh, there we go, 10,000.
Yeah, I gotta agree. I mean, right now it seems like Echo have drafted themselves a victory, but it all depends on execution as we head into the land of Dawn to see Echo Philippines go against RSG Singapore.
Spam your hashtags. It is Echo Loud, Echo Proud, or GGRSG. Ladies and gentlemen, let's witness, will Echo remain undefeated, or can RSG make something happen.
Let's find out right here, right now, because we're seeing potential cheese up on the top side here. Yawi looking to punish this Beatrix, and that's a thing, right? Beatrix is supposed to be good in lane, but as soon as you add some external factors, it becomes a bit of a problem.
Let's see here already. Spell checks. Yeah, 505 on that far side is somehow forced to use that Purify, but Echo, they're feeling confident, they're feeling aggressive. They are going to use 4 flickers. Let's see how it will work out.
I mean, let's take a look at the emblems before things go too heavy, right? Because when we see Echo, the choice of emblems, a lot of high and dries here. I think they're going to be playing for those pickoffs. So RSG Singapore, they need to be aware of that. They need to see that this is going to be the play that they want to go for in the early game especially. But they do have to wait for Yawi to get that level 4 in order for him to assist in that pickoff strat.
Yeah, I mean, when we're looking at the emblems, it just immediately tells us what Sanford is playing for, right? When you have high and dry, he understands that, unfortunately, Diablo isn't going to be as strong as him, especially with the unbending will. But top side now.
3v1 called Teasy with the cables, jumps in towards Baby Cakes. Baby Cakes, even without the flicker, is still quite safe.
I don't know. I feel like if Echo really wanted to, they could have dove that, but I guess they pulled back because they didn't see Lulzy until the very last second when he showed up mid. So, I don't know. I think it's the safer play for Echo. Don't really need to force any agendas now with Turtle coming up in 3 seconds.
I mean, right now, RSG, I don't see them being able to actually take this next objective away because we already see that Echo is starting to set up for it. Gray in the vicinity, trying to open up the map. But what's happening bot side?
Sanji forced the flicker, but first blood will fall to the hands of RSG. Can they steal this one? 4v3, No Man Blast will not be able to connect as Call TZ will find the first turtle. Echo equalizing a kill for the turtle.
Now, but that was the thing that I was so concerned about. I think I've said it over and over that they don't have anyone, one, to pressure Carl TZ in the jungle. Because usually when we see an assassin being used, we see someone like the Masha or the Hilda to be able to deny those rotations. Second of all, they also don't have a source of CC other than the Numenon Blast coming in from RSG, which is so easy to cancel.
Look, I mean, this is just a testament to how Singaporeans, especially professional teams at the highest level, play. They're very, very structured. They know that they can play the later stages of the game much better than most teams, as their general understanding of macro is a lot deeper. And they don't want to rely on things like risk, reward. Who needs that when you have a very clear pathway to victory?
They don't like the gamble, it seems like, but minute number 3, Benny QT has secured the first item, Corrosion Scythe. And take a look at the emblem here, get in anything significance, perhaps?
Well, other than Sanford's high and dry, he could have picked up Weapon Master if he wants to, but at this stage of the game, I mean, he knows his matchup against Diablo is going to be heavily in his favor for the majority of it. It's a wet noodle fight, right?
Cutthroat on towards 505, and he goes down immediately. Echo, with the early game potential that they have, seems like now they are controlling the tempo.
Yeah, they already have that benefit. Oh my god, Yawi goes in!
Jack Kundo flicker connects, and we can see here an all-out brawl. Call TZ jumps in with the cable. Sanji picking up a kill. RSG retreating right now. Lulzy might be next here. No commitment just yet. Echo with the intelligent engage and disengage.
That must be so frustrating, right? Because RSG, they're betting on the Numenon Blast, whereas Echo, they have Yawi to work around to initiate, but they also have that beautiful follow-up coming in from Sanji, but Diablo, he's gonna be taken down. Goodbye, Diablo.
And that's why you
go.
take high and dry. No, we were literally on this. We were going to say the exact same thing. I was hoping you were going to commit to that, right? The high and dry makes all the difference here. If you had Weapon Master, it probably wouldn't have the same effect.
Second neutral objective will be secured comfortably by the hands of Echo. Again, RSG, they are behind on rotation, so they need to find something to equalize.
Okay, so pickoffs for Echo right now. The neutral objectives so far have also been dominated by Echo. RSG, when will it be the time for them to turn online and find that power spike that perhaps they haven't found yet here in the 5th minute?
Well, all of it is dependent on both 505 and Baby Cakes, who are supposed to be the ones who can actually pull them towards the later stages of the game. But let's see, because Lulzy has a lot of work to do. He can only be in so many places at once.
Yeah, you can see your top side already. 3v4, perhaps potentially 5v5. Call TZ jumps in. Cutthroat connects, but no, not enough damage just yet. RSG pulls back.
I see the fact that Baby Cakes has been pressured quite a lot, but he's not that far behind in terms of that level gap. So it's very interesting to see what the items say, but
Oh, he lands it!
Oh my god, the taunt, the stun, everything goes down. Called TZ, RSG.
Top.
Find the equalizer, in particular the top side. Flicker pops. My goodness, Baby Cakes with the 1 HP retreat. And we can see here already the both roamers just punching bags. But okay, let's see. Conceal on towards the purple buff. Gray trying to steal that orange buff. Wave Dragon connects. Not enough damage. As Call TZ with the retribution. But Call TZ takes down Lolzy. Minds the double. No, Penny QT will pick up the kill. So again, Echo with the control of their jungler.
That's really unfortunate for RSG. They had a really good idea. They knew that the purple buff was going to come up. They wanted to get a punish specifically onto Carl TZ, but unfortunately, Echo had the foresight to understand that RSG wants to go for the punish, so instead they go for the counter engage, and the G Kundo specifically on Lolzy to deny it. Beautifully done.
Kundo Flicker connects on towards Baby Case here, top side. They are looking for the collapse, but it seems like RSG is on time to defend. Lolzy trying to open them up the map. Oh, Wave Dragon, Benny QT with the shurikens jumps in, and Carl TZ to clean it off. Turtle now open 5v4. RSG, is this the right move? Yeah, I feel like they should just let this go. Third turtle, Call TZ looks to secure this. Let's see.
But remember, it's Echo not having those really important utilities in their ultimates. But here we go. Another engage coming from Yaoi.
Well, what's Baby Cakes? Baby Cakes got the turtle. He stole it on the nose of Carl TZ. What is going on as RSG finds the equalization? And the turtle, get in.
Yeah, that's just unfortunate. I was shocked for a second. I couldn't believe that Baby Cakes actually got that, but that's great for RSG. Just look at this lead that Echo has, right? They want to be at least 5K by this point.
Wave Dragon, 3v1 Diablo caught off guard there. And it seems like Echo will find the first tier turret bot side. And now RSG, they are looking for an equalization, but what can they do?
Well, you can expect that, Carl TZ is going to look to make the aggressive play, but overall, RSG, if they have to sacrifice objectives, so be it. They still need to scale. That is their objective, right? Because Farsa is going to make Benny QT's life so very difficult, and the second question is whether or not Lolzy can actually handle Sanford, and on paper, it should be a no as long as there's a wall.
My goodness, just the kill pressure that Call TZ brings to the table. Baby Cake still surviving that one. Let's take a look at the mid side. Ray, 505, looking for a setup. But
River.
no comment. Oh my god, River top side. Lolzy gets caught with the Wave Dragon, and 4-member is technically on him. There you go. Down goes Lolzy.
I mean, you mentioned something about RSG and like the Singapore region in general of how that, oh my god, but wait a minute!
Bye-bye, Call TZ. Bye-bye, Baby Cakes. Now, Bray trying to find something, trying to go for the clear as Echo will not be able to seize that mid side as, Diablo finds compensation top side.
Now, right now, we can see that RSG, they're starting to figure out Echo, right? Echo, they like to go in for those pickups, but with a lot of members, they're using a lot of manpower, and therefore Diablo has started to be able to use that to their advantage by starting that split push. And if this goes on over and over, it could be RSG still staying relevant in the game, Gideon.
For sure. I mean, that's the idea. Both EXP laners are looking to gain pressure into the side lanes to kind of pull them apart for these neutral objectives. It's difficult, but now the kick comes through.
Oh my god, Bray gets deleted.
Whoa.
Numen Blast connects onto his one here. No follow-up damage just yet. Sanji trying to find something. Benny QT in the backside finds the Farsa. Benny QT will get the shutdown though. And now it's going to be a 3v3. Sanji Flicker as a defense. Baby Cakes in a tough situation. Oh, that Kundo is big. Baby Cakes though finds a double as Sanford will find a trade. At the end of the day, it's going to be 4v2. But my goodness, the Fanny out of nowhere finds the kill.
Oh my god, a 4-for-2 trade, and let's make it more? Okay, he didn't want to commit onto that. He didn't want to make that mistake, but even then, Echo still with a huge trade on the board.
It was so very close. Baby Cakes was trying to pull it by himself. He's like, all right, boys, get onto the backpack. We got to try and take out as many of these boys as possible. Yaoi played it well. He was delaying his G Kundo on purpose, knowing that the tactical roll coming in from Beatrix was going to come off of cooldown really soon, just to ensure the kill was going to get through. Cartesi, however, have to keep in mind, he's very dependent on this purple buff. So if RSG finds the opening to deny it from him, these neutral objectives will become a lot easier to contest.
And right now, they are going to start setting up for this next Lord. But look at this, RSG already on the way. Let's see who is going to be able to take it, as Echo seems to have the better setup for now.
They're trying to bait out information with the whereabouts of RSG members. Our members clumped up here. Rosie trying to face check. Wave Dragon, Benny QT. Take a look at the damage. And Sanford will confirm the kill. Sanford will retreat as they are confirmed 5v4. So they should take Lord quite comfortably.
No issues whatsoever. I don't know. I think at this point, adjustments need to be made. Like RSG, yes, they were giving up the Lord, but they cannot let Lolzy just keep walking, and he clearly isn't tanky enough to face check these rushes. They need to check it with 505, who actually has the range to do so, or maybe Diablo, who has Eye for an Eye available.
But now we're going to take a look at the in-game items. What has been happening so far?
Based on what I can see, it's 3. Wow, actually a lot of gold. And Baby Cakes is actually trying to keeping up with Benny QT, despite him having 3 full kills on his side, and also an outrageous laning phase. 505 is in trouble.
Oh my god. Purify, nothing matters. Carl TZ will find the kill. Diablo finds a 3-man Petrify here in the backside. Sanji goes down. Diablo taking a lot of damage here. Can he survive? But Sanford in the backside deals a lot of damage as well. Unstoppable for Sanford with that barrier. What the heck, Echo? They are just running everything full throttle.
They have so much kill pressure here. It's insane. Did you see how they did that team fight? They actually split. You could see that Sanford was pressuring that backside. 505 went down. Baby Case was being pressured. And at the end, the damage dealers, the main carries from RSG, they didn't have an answer to that.
They don't have it just yet, but it takes time to get their Echo. Now with a solid 5k lead, they're going to lose their inhibitor down on bot side. This is the position that Echo has been looking for a long time. The end is nigh. When we see that 95-second clock reach 0, this Lord is going to be so very important for Echo to try and close out this game. If not, RSG will delay it for another full 5 minutes.
5,000 gold lead here for Echo, and you can see the player's gold. That you're right, Baby Cakes, he hasn't fallen too far, so they still do have potential coming in from him, but that depends on how RSG is going to be able to protect him, right? Because so far, Baby Cakes has been pressured so much, and you're right, Lolzy, he hasn't been able to protect too much because he isn't as tanky. He's not as sustainable as someone like, let's say, Sanford or even Yaoi in this situation.
I think what's the most, like, if you were in SG's position, right, it's not like you're making bad decisions. And especially in that last fight, I think that was the best example. You were making all the right calls. You were looking and targeting all the right people. But Echo, oh yes, Yaoi, he was able to get the Shunpo to dodge the stun. Oh, and even Sanford dropping the wall at 1 HP, holding it off to wait for his opponent to turn the corner so he doesn't expect it. They're just getting outplayed. It's not like SG is making bad choices.
I mean, we can see here Echo already somehow establishing a healthy amount of gold lead, but what I do really want to point out is their mechanics, their macro is also very on point. Sanford here being everywhere, disgusting. Take a look at this barrier delay.
Wave manipulation, the beauty of Grok. Not a lot of heroes can do that. But so far, I think RSG now taking position up on towards the Lord side.
You see here already moving on towards the Valentina, but it seems like Sanji still is too slick. RSG has given up position though. Echo, can they capitalize on this? Yaoi on the conceal will not find anything just yet.
Oh, this is scary because Echo, they have Yaoi, they have Sanford, and they have Sanji to work with. So when they group as 5v5, Echo will definitely have a better chance. But here we go, the fight for the Lord.
Numinum Blast from Valentina finds Bray. No fall damage just yet, but Lolzy here will not find the right connection as well. RSG, they are resetting here, 13,000 HP.
They need to make a choice right now. I mean, the minions are pushing in into their base. They're going to get backdoored by Call of Teasy if they don't choose now.
Oh my god, Call of Teasy, will they read this? Junpo tries to delay, but no, my god, 505 trying to fly. Sanford, Yaoi goes down, but Call of Teasy in the backside. Benny QT, the base Echo outplayed RSG.
Echo remains undefeated. Upper bracket secured with a beautiful, beautiful split push by Benny QT as well as Carl TZ. Congratulations, the Philippines. Very unfortunate for RSG in that moment, but my God, Gideon, how did you see that?
Anger, nightmare. That's exactly what this is. You don't want to see that happen. And they were purposefully delaying this Lord for that to happen and roll out of control. Wow. It's so frustrating. Like, yes, I have a vendetta against RSG, but they don't deserve to lose like that. Q fans, Valley fans, and Team Hawk to really make the stage shake. But it's time. Let's jump into the draft.
We can see Team Hack on the blue side as well as the Valley on the red. And so far, 2 bans have already been set in stone. Kaja, Martis being banned away by Team Hack, whereas from the Valley, we have the Fanny as well as that Diggy ban.
A lot of prio bans, but that Diggy ban here, Gideon, it seems like respects the Valley. They aren't trying to set things up. Perhaps, potentially, we might see an Atlas Blade pick here.
No, you're absolutely right here, Gani. This is something that, this is something that Team Hawk is known for, especially for Min. He's turned games around with the Atlas before, but it's not something that I feel like the Valley doesn't know about, right? So they want to open up more options. The question is, do they want to deny options or open up the field even more? I think this is the decision, to open up that field, to make sure that Super Strike feels as comfortable as possible. Even if he doesn't get the Lolita, at the very least, he's looking for those hard engages or maybe even disengages.
But on that note, you're right? There's so many heroes that are still opened up here. The Valley, now I'm lost. Now I'm lost in my train of thought. I was going to say the Valley and the Hawk, but what I meant to say was the Glue is still open up for grabs. The Carry, the Valentina, so many options here. And because of this Glue being banned, Team Hack, they're going to have the first to choose, but the Wan is their priority.
All right.
Looking at this, I personally feel like the Valley will open up Lolita for Shark and possibly can Valentino work here. The Eve. We forgot about the Eve.
Look, I was going to say, would the Valentino work here? I was like, we don't really see too much of it just yet, and you don't really want to draft around it. It's something that Malaysians are very comfortable with, and especially with the Valley, I think they're going to stick to their own game plan regardless, right? But now, looking at 2 really powerful ults here, the Eve and as well as the Lolita. We saw previously in Echo's matchup, when you have something like Valentina, you don't necessarily have to take, the Yuzong ult to get access to multiple abilities. A Numenon Blast could really set the pace of the game.
Here you go. Guess now with the Eve and Lolita, just like you said, it's a very heavy ult, but then again, they need level 4. So I guess they will wait it out perhaps after first hurdle. Before first hurdle, they need to manipulate the wave so they can get level 4. But Team Hack, after some time, they have responded with a Kadita pick and as well as Dairo's pick. Now, I personally like the Kadita. Why? It just adds more spice and crowd control.
I mean, it's a two-way sword, right? It's a double-edged sword. We've seen the Kadita do wonders, but on the other side, it has failed if you can't be able to get that early game snowball. But with now the Akai being picked up for the Valley, it still sets precedent that they may have an upper hand when it comes down to those neutral objective takes. Now we are entering the second phase of the ban and picks. The Cho is going to be eliminated. Now, Team Hack, what do you think they're going to be banning next?
Look, if I had to judge the trios that we are seeing on board right now, and we have to compare the jungler specifically, I would say the Valley definitely has a significant advantage because I'm expecting Dairoth to go into that jungle. Yes, it is flexible. It can go into the EXP lane, and that's something that Team Hawk really needs to think about because Mlbb Zayn has been performing relatively well. We haven't seen enough of him yet to boost up his stats, but expect his average KDA to change.
I personally agree with you. I mean, Akai itself is just a good hero, prominent hero to securing that neutral objective, and in the hands of Zayn, it's just so efficient yet so effective. And now Hawk, they are looking to limit the option for their marksmen. I expect them to ban out the carry last, but the Valley, their game plan is also straightforward. They want to limit crowd control because remember that Kadita is already there, so they do not want to add more. With the Cho, with the Franco, they banned it out, and yeah, as expected, carry banned out.
You're right. I didn't realize that the carry was survived up until this second phase. I would have thought that someone would have taken it in that first phase, and I'm excited to see what that next pick was from the side of the Valley to see exactly how they're starting to round things up. But it is a Grok, and this Grok is also flex potential.
Yeah, I think Rock is really, really smart of the Valley to deny Team Hawk, because I was thinking, okay, there's only a couple of things that really work out specifically for Hawk to counter this particular composition, and Grok came up to mind, even Cho, but that's arguable, and I really love the simplicity of that Grok. So well done to the Valley. They're looking really good right now. Whoa, the change of pace!
Both teams, they're sticking to what they know best, right? With the Hilda being picked up, denying that as well, away from the Valley. This is interesting, right? So who is going to be able to pressure that lane in that jungle, realizing that the Valley still has one more pick up, and it should be the gold lane. It sounds like the Irithel. So they're trying to counter the 1-1 in that lane, and they also have the Lolita to counter the 1-1 as well.
Very clear that the side of the Valley, they want to go front to back, right? I mean, that Grok, it doesn't have to build tank. Remember, we saw a lot of high-end drives Grok. So with Lolita, and as well as Akai, who will definitely build tank, my guess is that Grok will build high damage.
I don't know. This game is stressing me out, man. I feel my voice just lock up in my throat. Both teams are phenomenal at what they do. They are champions for a reason, but only one of them gets to go to the upper bracket.
We'll see who it is going to be. Ladies and gentlemen, are you Team The Valley or are you Team Hack? Put your predictions in the comments section as we are moments away of getting into the land of Dawn. Bagani, predictions before we get in.
Personally, looking at the composition, I'm going to go with the Valley.
Okay, we'll wait for Gideon later. But ladies and gentlemen, let's go straight into the land of Dawn to see who will claim the next upper bracket seat.
Let's jump right on into it. As we saw, as we were jumping into the land of Dawn, Grok is already slowing down and actually helping Mlbb Zayn with a quick leash of his own. But slowing down that mid lane purposefully to make sure that Yves has a good time and can hit level 2 without getting too much harassment or threatened by specifically Kadita.
Oh, I'm actually quite surprised. Actually, Shark is going to be able to opt for that mid side, so he wants to pressure Man a little bit more. And I'm surprised because they're not... Wait, is there a lane swap?
Oh, yeah. I'm feeling like Malaysia's going to be known for lane swaps. Like, this is becoming our staple strategy at this point.
So lane swap is going to happen here. And when we see that going against one another, who do you think has a favorable trade? But this might have to wait here. Min is going to get attacked in this mid side.
Seems like Litho will be comfortably taken by the side of Gary. But I do want to point out that Union Blast can be cancelled out and in reach with Kadita, right?
Yep.
Later
and I think,
on.
Well, that's only later on. For now, it's all about the laning phase, right? Min should survive here. Okay, he is alive. Now, the laning phase, I definitely thought that Lola was going to play a big part in trying to take out this Grok overall, but Fried Chicken can definitely play a little bit more passive and focus on clearing those waves. So I think Team Hawk switching up these lanes actually is very beneficial because Dairoth naturally has a way to get on top of the Irithel, regardless if she is using Queen's Calling or trying to get on out of there.
You can kind of see that happening. I mean, look at the way that they're positioning there in that bottom side. Irithel forced to really stick with the turret, love the turret a little bit more because Dairoth is just a huge nuance in that early game because of that base damage that he has.
Yeah, that's not all. This upcoming turtle is going to be quite the battle. I'm not sure if Team Hawk is going to look to contest it or whether or not they look to punish bottom side.
Let's see though, Mlbb Zayn and Min, every member from the side of the Valley except for the goal winner is in the vicinity. Min trying to pressure Man, finds the petrify and finds the first blood. Pride will go down. Gary will not be able to steal that one. Zayn finds Min, pulls him back towards the backside, but not enough damage to take him down just yet.
Really?
Yeah.
It just really nicely played overall. I mean, Team Hawk understanding, and especially Gary understanding that he just has to try and contest it. Wait, Min, is he dead here?
Yeah, no sprints. I guess he will not be able to escape as Zayn will collect the kill, but bot side. Ooh,
Okay, so he dies on purpose to try and delay it. We already see that Basic is taking a bad trade, forced to push back, and therefore they're sending Hoon as well as Super Strike to actually compensate for the wave pushing down bot. Therefore, I'm guessing Team Hawk is most likely going to just focus on that farm, look to get the Lethal Wander, and then start pressing their advantages down on top side. But they notice there's no farm there. They can't do anything. The Valley is not one step ahead.
Well, taking a look at the emblems here, again, it's just standard. And the way I see things, even though that the turtle went towards the hands of the Valley, not much of a advantage that they got.
Look, it's a slow start, but it's going to snowball out of control. We've seen this many times with many different teams. It's going to go back and forth. It really comes down to a decisive fight. And I don't think the Valley is going to take it this early on until they get those first items.
So right now, Min is being a huge nuisance to Mlbb in there. I don't know how effective he is right now because he's not far behind Gary, but in the bottom side.
The dire potential jumps in. 1, 2, 3. Bye-bye, Basic. Gary will pick up the kill, and on top of that, he will get the extra goal. But now, the re-engage from the Valley. They should not commit to this. I'll take a look at this 3v1. Super Shark will go down next. The Valley, they really need to be careful on this one.
Yeah, they cannot disrespect the Dire-Off, and especially with the armor shred, it makes it so easy for someone like Ling to quickly cut down someone as tanky as Super Shark, who naturally has the base health as well as armor to protect himself.
Top side, everything. White Chicken, 1 HP. He gets almost that's taken down, but now Turtle Fight Gary gets low. He will be forced out of that vicinity. We'll see. Can he make the steal? Zane Shark is already on that turtle. 2,000, but he will not make it, as Zane will find the second turtle.
They're doing well. So far, the Valley continuing to control the tempo for now. And yes, bottom side is on the loss. However, I did see Lola. He first item blade a Heptases. What a mad lad. He really wants to kill Basic here. So now the Valley is trying to unlock him from that bottom side. Maybe find some gold elsewhere on the map. No, still sticking to bottom side.
Seems like Panda is farming relatively well. Lola sends a danger shark with the stun. Hoon as well. Your combination comes in. Real revelation, but take a look at the damage shark. Low HP, he will not fall, and it will be Lola. 3-on-1 is a little just too much, and Lola suffers a death outside.
But remember here, Team Hack does have an advantage in those side lanes, so they are going to have a little bit more map pressure than the Valley for the moment. And you can already see the health in that tower in the top side, where Team Hack, they're looking to get another one. But look at the delay coming in from White Chicken. He's trying to do his best to delay it. Unfortunately, it isn't going to be enough.
Another objective falls into the side of Team Hawk. And honestly, the Valley, at this point, the laning phase is done and dusted. The question is, where do you find the goal effectively and safely? Oh no.
Take a look at the setup here. Min falls, and now Gary, Tempest of Blade just to escape. But take a look at the Hurricane Dance. Finds the Ling, and there you go. Bang, bang, bang. The Valley responds in minute number 6.
A 2-for-0 trade in favor of the Valley. And who in their right mind would be able to pin the Ling there? It was beautiful. But look at this. Super Shark.
Crossbow of Tang finds Super Shark. And now the Valley, they slow down the tempo. They need to be careful here. They won the trade. Team Hack is just finding compensation.
Yeah, with Turtle coming up in about 5 more seconds. Right now, the difference maker is going to be Lola. Min has been struggling to get his harassments down, especially with the Valley playing very defensively. Hoon even opting to go for a brute force breastplate as his very first item after the boots, of course, but he needs to live and needs to start scaling.
Here, Zane. Oh, take a look at the damage from the Tyrells, man. Heavy spin as a defense. Gary will confirm the last turtle in the Land of Dawn. And Gideon, things are looking good for the Malaysians here.
I'm not counting out the Valley just yet. Even though the tier 2s are going to start to fall, the lead doesn't seem to be too far away. It's only 1.77 minutes into the game. It's not that much. The next turtle comes, and now the fight begins.
Most Nuno Blast not landing though. Ultimate resource, there's information. Hawk might go for the mid side, but Lola almost solo killing Zane there with the help of the conceal just to escape. Now mid side real manipulation just to fast clear. White Chicken misses the wild charge, and there you go, Team Hack with the disengage.
Yeah, it seems like Gary was able to get that blue buff away from Zayn though, so it is a little advantage for themselves. They were leading 1,000, now already with a 2,000 gold lead as they continue to press, continue to set their own tempo, denying anything away from Team Valley. And once again, Gary being the ever-aggressive jungler.
You can see here already 5 members from the Valley is in the mid side, failed to defend the tier 1, and Lola, he is very intelligent, taking down the tier 2, well, almost TV is just in time to defend that one. Oh, top side. Link Gary finds the red buff, and White Chicken cannot be able to find the kill.
Oh boy, this is well, at least for Team Hawk, they understand their composition has a lot of mobility, so the split push is going well, but we see this problem time and time again. At the end of the day, if this match goes up to 20 minutes, the Valley will eventually start to scale so much harder in comparison to Team Hawk. So right now, Team Hawk is on a timer, and they have to conclude this game as fast as possible.
Right now, we can see that Fried Chicken trying to clear that upper side, but in that 1v1 against Gary, he nearly took him down, so that's how much damage you can expect from a Grok with that particular emblem as well. And it's interesting, right? Because when we see the Ling, we can either see the jungle emblem or this assassin emblem, the killing spree, and the way that Gary has been using it, it really exemplifies how he wants to play in this game. But oh my god, Min still able to escape though.
A lot of resources were put out, and he still survived. But take a look, Lola already jumps in towards Zayn just to zone it out. 10,000 in the HP Lord. Zayn with the conceal will not be able on time, but Nuno last catches too, and now the fight begins. One by one, bodies falling, basics down, and now Team Hawk, they want war. They want Hoon here, who is covered by Shard, but crossbow of Tang by Panda. One by one, bye. Panda finds the double.
Oh my goodness, I was stressing out there. I don't know about you, Eternal, but when you see a situation like that, you got what you want. You had your objective. You didn't have to fight, and yet they did.
They did, and they got the way a better advantage as well. So props to Team Hack for that calculation. As you can see, the Lord is already marching down in that top side. We have 3 members, 4, 5 now up in the air, going to try and defend this. But I gotta say, the Valley, they have really good high ground aside from Panda, obviously from Team Hack.
Yeah, right now, Who needs to be very, very picky about when he uses that ult, right? His ult is the difference maker here, but here we go. Inhibitor in trouble.
Face turret with the defense. Real world relation pop. Heavy spin connecting on towards 2. No follow-up damage just yet. Basic. He wants to jump in. He needs to be careful as all of the minions is entering the base. But TV, well done. They managed to defend all 3 base turrets.
Beautiful defense. Beautiful defense. Mobazane looking to push as many people away as possible. Fly Chicken even dropping down the Guardian's Baron to ensure no engages are going to happen. And Hoon quickly dropping the real world manipulation to help clear that wave and pose as a threat.
Oh, man. Quarter HP immediately gets out of there as TV still trying to find the right engage as Team Hack established a 5,000 gold lead. Equipment's what's going on there.
Looking at the items so far, Fried Chicken looks like he's going to be building a Blade of Despair really, really soon, but you can tell who has the advantage. And now, are they going to find it? Is the Valley actually going to get the catch? No, they back off. And that's a good choice because right now Ling is in prime position with 3 items already under his belt. Man, Basic is going to have a really rough time without some support.
Man.
And they spawn man here. Oh, the Flicker Wall Charge jumps in and the follow-up damage is just perfect. He falls as the Valley finds some slight compensation. Oh, take a look at Wan Panda.
Whoa.
Trying to find the crossbow of Tang. Not yet, though. Playing this rather patiently as they realize that 30 seconds, the next Lord will spawn.
This is going to be really important for them. Team Hawk, 6.3k so far, but if TV is able to hold on, they have a chance to make the ultimate comeback here. But Team Hawk, this is on a knife's edge, man. I don't know. This could really go both ways. I think that here's my theory, right? I think if the Valley, and especially for Super Shark, when he does have his flicker, he's looking to hit 1 or 2 people. He's looking specifically for Lola or maybe even Panda. Panda is a little harder because he can get immune to CC for a little bit, or at the very least cleanse it. But with the help of Boone, and I'm pretty sure he's very close to getting his next item. As soon as he gets that Ice Queen's wand, things are going to start changing.
Thing is, the Valley need to be very careful. With the way that they're rotating as 5, and that gives opportunity for Gary to try and pull another Echo. But look at this, Min is going to get caught out here.
They need to be careful here as the Lord will not be committed. But now Heavy Spin as a defense. Is this the right move? Zane gets taken down as the crossbow of Tang is just too huge. Finding the double. Can he get the triple? But oh my goodness, 4 bodies from the Valley is in the Land of Dawn.
White Chicken, the only one left to defend this base as Team Hack. They're looking to push that top and that mid side. Will it be enough here, Gani?
We'll see. We'll see. Base turret top side will fall here. White Chicken, the sole man, while charged as a Hail Mary. And there you go. Team Hack will find the dub against the NA Rep, the Valley.
The next upper bracket slot is going to fall to the Malaysian representatives. Congratulations, Team Hack. And wow, what a game by them. Beautifully executed. Very well done. Very aggressive from that early game. And it was so difficult for the Valley to get any opening on the board.
Upper bracket secured. Even the owner, he's like, nah, don't worry. This is only one step before we take our leaps of faith here at M4. But what a game. Very clean, very tactical, very much on the macro and split pushing of this map.
As an Akai, right, you really want to have that snowball early game to have a foundation.
Scaling hero to try and balance the work play for RRQ Oshi. But ladies and gentlemen, the drafting phase has begun between RRQ Hoshi and RSG. As RRQ, they're going to be on the blue side, and RSG, they're on the red.
Kanja and Martis banned out immediately from side of RQ, saying we want to open more heroes here. Yeah, perhaps putting respect as well towards the side of RSG. Remember, they picked up Martis a couple of times and it worked out for them. So RQ, they want to somehow learn from that. But to close out the banning phase, they banned out that Benedetta.
Yeah, that's a really good ban unit, especially. I mean, you can see Diablo is like, they're looking at me. I got his attention. I deserve to ban. You know, that's all me, baby. And I think it's definitely understandable because Diablo is able to kind of create the space and also scrape a lot of gold, which helps with the Singaporean almost foolproof defense. But like we saw in their matchup against Echo, there's a lot of ways to actually manipulate it and finding opportunities across the map. So if it's going to come down to cross-map plays, I'd be interested to see if RRQ lean away from a teamfight strategy to a full-on split push strategy.
And on that note, talking about split push, I'm thinking of the hero that can do the split. Are RRQ going to pick up the glue here?
Maybe it's wide open here, but it seems like they are taking their time here, so I'm quite surprised. Perhaps the scenario isn't there, but there you go, the carry first. Why? Because glue can be countered by the carry, so why not anticipate that and just pick up the carry themselves first?
Exactly, and that's the beauty of being first pick on that blue side, but it does kind of give you that, that bounce back, right? And I'm expecting for RCSG, they might lean away from that glue. The Valentina gets picked up as well as the glue. That's not too bad. But this Valentina pick here, glue is always going to be very, very relevant in this meta. I think that goes without saying. But at the very least, it forces RRQ to think about, hey, what ultimates are we giving over to RSG? Or if they want to do the Echo style of play, you know what? We'll give you all the good ultimates. You got to pick which one you want.
Yeah, you're right. Again, perhaps that is the same. That would be the approach from inside of RRQ. Again, we mentioned that Clay likes the Yve, and he will pick up the Yve. And to add to that, they add another solid hero. And that Brethren, the question is, who will play it, right? Will it be Albert, or will it be R7?
I don't know. Have we seen Albert play the Frederick?
Not yet.
Not yet. Not
it's
yet.
already in his arsenal.
Yeah, it's not out of the question for Albert. I think there was a lot of discussion before, maybe during the SEA Games era, where we observed that he wasn't too great at these fighter tanks in the jungler, that his prowess was more on the assassins, but definitely still on the table for Albert now coming into M4. RSG, what are they going to respond with? Remember, the Grok is still up if they do want to go for that.
Up, but I guess they might prio the marksman. And yeah, I was about to say marksman. Beatrix picked up, but take a look at the win rate, 11.1%. Not a good number to rely on.
Yeah, especially the fall from glory of Beatrix, usually the most dominant, most nasty marksman until Melissa came out and then the hard nerfs came through, but still Beatrix remains to be part of this list. Now we go into the second phase and immediately once we see the three locked in heroes, they're basically somewhat mirroring each other. They already have the mid lane locked in and secured, but for RRQ they have the flexibility of the Fredrin pick. However, for RSGSG, that might not necessarily be the case unless they've been practicing Valentina in multiple positions.
True. I mean, that glue itself is also a flexible pick, right? Can't enter the room, can't enter the XP. But as the second phase commences, it's going to be the Atlas band. Comes through from side of RG saying, well, I expect perhaps another hero. Vin might be banned here, and that's Franco.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, to be honest, it's not out of character for RRQ to pick up something like the Franco here. So perhaps RSGSG, they want to take this off the board first.
I think that's a really good idea. The fact that they've already banned out the Kaja, they had a good idea that they weren't going to pick up the Franco within the first phase on the red side. So great preparation for the side of RRQ. But remember, RSG, on this second phase, they will have first pick. So I'm hoping RRQ ban out that Franco sooner rather than later for this very last pick.
We'll see, we'll see. It seems like now RSGSG taking their time for their last ban of the drafts, and they have established that they will ban out that Kirita we saw a couple of times when on this Kirita. It's good, it's solid, but I guess RSG saying, yeah, you don't want more team fight hero from you guys, RQ.
That's kind of interesting because they already have the Eve. Were they expecting Vin to go and pick it up as a support to try and one-shot either Valentina, which is already hard enough, with the Petrify, or maybe even the Beatrix to jump into the back line? Because for all we know, they could technically give Lapu Lapu over to R7 and does the same job, if not even better.
Okay, but it seems like the Hayabusa is going to be the ban here for RRQ Hoshi. And on that Lapu Lapu, I was thinking that Yu Zhong is still a possibility to be picked up, and so is the Cho up until this point. So RSG first pick here, they need to secure either, because I'm not really acquainted with the Singapore regions. Are they flexible? Do they put Valentina in these weird places, or is this Valentina definitely going mid?
It really depends on the results of their scrims and what they've been preparing here, and I'm not 100% sure what it's going to be. Kind of wish Jays was here because he probably would have given us more insight on it, but you'll see him much, much later down the road. Is it going to be the Franco lock-in early here? No, they're actually going to take the Cho to try and make it really difficult and put maybe, wait, let me double check the bans. Okay, Rock is still open to go into the off lane here.
It's a good option. I mean, we saw multiple times R7 playing that Brock, and the outcome is positive, but I do want to say that Cho pick is just very good for the Singaporean side. Why? They needed crowd control. They needed someone that can deny, someone can pick off, and that Cho is a perfect hero that can just set the tone for their team fight. Now, RRQ, what can they do?
They want to be able to get into that back line, right? Because right now, the only person that they can do that is the Fredrin. So I'm thinking someone crazy here, but okay, Kufra is going to be the choice to close out the drafts, as well as the Lapu Lapu that Gideon mentioned earlier. And it makes sense, right? This was something that I was concerned about. How will they go into the back line? They solved it, but now RSG with the response, who are they going to be picking up next?
That's a tough question, but a very good hero here. Vin is saying, yeah, okay, you ban out my hero, Atlas Kadira. No problem. Let me put some heat on this Kufra to harass the backlines. And Chaza that they have Lapu Lapu that can synergize well with this Kufra. But what are we looking at here? We get in. Last hero for Singapore.
I'm thinking it could be a pick. It could be a Franco. It could be a Yu Zhong here. One of the... all right. I wasn't expecting this, to be honest. This time around, Ray is going to be like, you know what? I'm tired of these util. I'm not a tool. I want to carry this time around. We got some power picks and a Valentina in the house. Very excited to see how RSG is going to utilize this.
I'm surprised, right? Because the information that we got when we were doing briefings about RSGSG is that Ray doesn't use assassins. He's more of the tank fighter type, but he actually brought the Ling this time. And my question... That brings me to my question. My question was, is it the wisest decision to be picking up the Ling, realizing that the Kufra was already picked up by RRQ Hoshi?
That's a bold pick. So I guess what they're saying, we don't care. You have a Kufra. Nah, let me let me just put it up there and just
raise the posterior, man.
Exactly.
That's what you're expecting to do. Raise the posterior, call me daddy. Let's jump right into this game. One of these teams are going to be making up into the upper bracket. The others will be dropped down to the lower. It's RRQ Hoshi up against RSG Singapore.
Already so much tension, even in the audience, anticipating this next matchup. It's going to be do or die right now. As you can see here, Bray is going to be starting on the red buff first.
a different pathing here, but they might clash both sides. So we'll see here. Again, spell check, item check, well, emblem check. Nothing too
out of the ordinary.
Out of the ordinary, yeah.
Yep. I think in this particular situation, even Diablo understands that he wants to get as many trades as possible. So taking the Avarice in the laning phase against the Lapu Lapu is great. And forcing R7 to flicker, even better.
Ooh, wow, that's huge right now. R7 already caught quite low here. Diablo seems to be very dominating that lane on the glue. But here we go. We saw that Bray on the lane. He decided with the Assassin emblem. So expect a lot of showdowns happening as he's going to go in very aggressive in that playstyle.
Yep, and here we go. I mean, when we looked at the keys to victories the last time, RRQ needed to look for those hard initiators, and I mean, that's what we see with Vin on this Kufra. Let's see if they can control the tempo as much as they want, because RSG, even though they don't necessarily need to fight, they can go for split pushes if they want to. They have a very mobile comp with Ray and Lolzy already on two of the most mobile heroes in the game.
Yeah, they need to somehow extract the split push potential from this Ling, indeed. But I do want to note this. RSG, they can step up the gas. Remember, they have Cho, they have Ling. I expect more aggressive aggression from the side of RSG. Realize that RRQ, I mean, Yves needs to level 4, Kufra needs to level 4, but all I hear is silent from the right side.
I mean, to be fair, RSG, they still do need to wait for level 4 as well, right? Because Lolzy is not going to be able to have that pick-off potential yet, but on the bottom side.
Wait, that's Petrified forced to flicker away. Bravest Fighter pops. R7 is a monster. Diablo, though, mounting on R7. Not enough damage. He realizes that, and he backs away as RRQ has the space to control and secure the first neutral objective by Secret Lab.
It was really interesting because RSG understood that they were looking for a potential pick here down on the bottom side. Yes, it did fail, and that's due to just Clay being an absolute beast with his flicker. Times it perfectly to get out of the right time, and R7 also being able to peel for him. But RSG never had any intention of actually touching the turtle, which begs the question, right? Where is RSG actually playing for? And I think they're going to be playing for Baby Cakes, hoping that he evolves to Daddy Cakes sometime soon.
Daddy Cakes.
Daddy Cakes.
I'm still not over that. Baby Cakes to Daddy Cakes, but here you go. Been already charging for Lolzy, still going to be able to get out for now, but you can see that both teams, they're trying to vie for that mid lane pressure, and honestly, Valentina is very good at clearing those waves, but the rotations seem to be lacking as compared to RRQ, who are already in this top side.
They want to punish, but notice that RSG on the bottom side making the same moves.
Oh, Lolzy gets caught here. Tyrant's Rage and Revenge connecting, but not enough damage. Lolzy taking that, even he holds the flicker, but both sides, 2v1 now, wheel manipulation pops, Bravest Spider. R7 flickers away, and no casualties for the first 3 minutes.
This is how RSG strives, right? They are reading the map really well. RRQ is trying to make some moves on their side, but the defense coming out from the Singaporeans, impeccable.
Oh, Lolzy trying to find the right Jekundo. Oh, flickers to the wrong side. Brave, times of blade, real manipulation in the backside, too far off. And now we can see here 1 man, and that is Diablo. gets taken down in the hands of Carrie.
I agree with you. Like everything that's been happening right now up until this point, it's so low kill. Everyone is just trying to play that macro game, and it seems like both of them are trying to read out one another. It seems apparent that in this 4th minute, RRQ leading with 1 kill, but for the most part, it doesn't really matter, as now RSG, they're already looking and vying to get to that next neutral objective, which is this turtle, and this is when the clash comes to fruition.
And you can tell that RSG actually want to contest for this. They're posturing themselves ready to collapse on RRQ, looking for their rotations and cutting them halfway through.
5 men already in that vicinity. Losey opening. Oh, flicker. Jakundo connecting onto his clay. And we can see here the damage trying to find in. Baby Case flickers has a defense as well. Real Revelation been the one to fall first. But in the backside, it is actually going to be Losey. Finds also gets taken down as Bray is in a bad situation. A 2 main damage dealer as Skylar finds the triple.
That's not good. That's not good. You don't want to be putting gold onto Skylar, who is on the hero like Carrie, who can snowball into that later stage of the game. For the moment, RRQ Hoshi, they had the better trade. 3 members taken down. They got the objective as well. And now they're going to go for a turret in this top side. And we got to check out exactly what happened, because here is the instant replay by TikTok.
Yeah, and like, keep your eyes on Albert right now. Yes, it was a very good move right at the very beginning, but then Albert caught and immediately taunted the lane, causing the double kill to occur. They are still peeling heavily for Skylar, and they are revolving around his playstyle. For now, Clay, he's just trying to scale up. He's trying to get as much gold as possible. He's not expected to get kills, but the utility of his ult that he brings to the table is just far more valuable. So let's quickly look at the items. And yeah, we don't see a defensive build coming out from Clay. Immediately, Ice Queen's wand.
Right now, we can see the disparity of gold in the gold leaders as well. 4,900 with an example of 3,900. So right now, Carrie is how many items above the Beatrix?
To be fair, Beatrix is trying to build a more expensive item. And yes, Corrosive Scythe is a little bit cheaper. Not to mention that he already has the Swift Boots. There we go. Blade of Despair. I would have wished that Baby Cakes was able to finish one item rather than try to greed out to get the second one's components ready, up and ready. But hey, that's just me.
Losey, questionable target there. Still able to back off RRQ. Good setup though. As take a look at Skylar. You have 6 minutes in. 4 kills already.
But I haven't seen Vin really get his ultimate on the right person just yet. I feel like every time they go for an engage, he hasn't been able to maximize the potential that he actually has.
I think he understands that he doesn't have to, right? Because if he engages and fails, that puts his team at a bigger risk of giving free gold over to RSG. And that's not what they want. They want to slowly build up the lead. They have a 2.6, and now it's just small cuts upon small cuts.
Oh, where Dragon then gets taken down. Take a look, Losey there, taking a lot of heat as Clay finds the kill. And now Roy's in trouble. Skylar finding the kill as well, but Bray finds compensation, takes 1 down. And now Diablo using the split against Skylar. He mounts him. Can he make something? Baby Cakes shut down. And there you go. Baby Cakes, though, will be traded back by R7. It's scrappy. It's everything. And this is RRQ.
Okay, honestly, I have to say, R7 should live this, but I have to say, Baby Cakes cannot be missing those shots on a stunned target, man. He was predicting the movement. He should have just shot as soon as the stun connected.
Seeing now the turtle here, RSG, trying to grab space. Oh, Vin gets caught. We'll see. That Bray patiently waiting for the execution as now Diablo in the backside. But take a look at the backside here. R7 gets caught. Skylar though finds Diablo, traded back, and now it's going to be an all-out war. Losey down, and we can see Albert claiming the neutral objective, but Bray will find Skylar in the process. 3-4-2, but RSG lost the turtle.
Yeah, they lost the turtle. It's really unfortunate. Albert, as of right now, is still at the exact same level as Ray, so it should have been a very clean 50-50. Let's see how much more punishment they can actually put. They don't actually get the mid-tier 1. That's unfortunate. Wait, no, actually Baby Cakes is going to whittle it down. So regardless, even though there is going to be more gold and EXP on the side of RRQ4 now, RSG's punishment after the turtle is going to be a big swing. That 2K lead, now absolutely gone.
Yeah, ping pong match all across the board here between RRQ as well as RSG, as even though Bray is on that emblem, he is still going to be able to get a neutral objective take as well as a tower in that top side. So slowly but surely, they are advancing according to their keys to victory, where it's said that they were supposed to focus more on these objectives, and that's exactly what they're doing.
I like it. It's a balanced game here. RRQ, we're in the lead. We're 2,000 ahead. RSG, though, with the earlier trade, managed to equalize. Now, concealed play. Will they find someone? Oh, they could know. And there you go. Albert is the target. We'll see, though. Reinforcements come. This is the right question. Albert has taken down, though. Will there be any trades? And take a look at R7 in the backside. We can have it. Clay goes down. And R7 with the bravest rider will not be able to find anyone else as RSG gets traded back 2 for 2.
It's funny because it seems like RSG is playing into what RRQ won, which is team fight, as they are losing members on the board. But look at Bray right now. He wasn't involved in that team fight. He was more focused on splitting the map. He was more focused on getting those towers to the top side. And he's getting way more value in the fact that they have way more map pressure than RRQ.
Yeah, and that's the thing. RSG is just, I mean, just the region of Singapore is really efficient at maximizing gold and opportunities. They do not miss a beat. But RRQ, it doesn't mean they're completely out of this. Look at the lead that R7 has over Diablo. A 2-level lead. He is the difference maker in jumping into that back line and threatening baby cakes.
Now we'll see though. Then catching one. Lozi gets taken down. We were in population. 2 of them pops out. I'll take a look. That huge baby cakes down. Lord, who gets it is Albert. RRQ may step on towards the gas, but they stay disciplined. And RSG falls with 2 down, and as well as they didn't manage to get the Lord.
RRQ played that team fight so well. Did you see R7 there going straight into the back line, taking down baby cakes, and he's not having a great time. Look at his KDA, 3-4-1 right now, Gideon.
Look, this is the break even for RRQ, and now we see the accumulated lead from R7 making all the difference here. They want, again, the keys to victory. You want him to carry? Just give him a carry type hero, and eventually he's going to do it. A 3-level lead against Diablo so far, and Baby Cakes doesn't have enough gold to purchase a Winds of Nature to keep himself alive.
Okay, and we're going to see here right now, the Lord is going to be marching in that top side.
For now, when you have a Link, you're already looking to kind of open up the map a little bit more, trying to slow down these waves, and that's Bray, all by himself taking care of one lane. He needs the rest of his team to focus up, hunker down, and clear this wave as quickly as possible.
I mean, this is the first Lord, so it's still manageable, and RRQ will definitely capitalize, though. Tier 2 in the mid side and as well as top has been taken down, but Bray, again, extracting dealing prowess, split pushing, and yeah, finding the tier 2 outside.
He's also taking away all RQ's jungle, so he's farming up the storm at the moment, and look at the damage on the Clay!
Oh my god, Bray trying to play the sneaky Link, and there you go. He does not succeed as RQ. They were ready for that.
Yeah, they were already waiting by the river brush, and that was really nicely done. And Clay, he didn't have his flicker at the time. He could have absolutely died there, and if and only if we saw Bray react with his Blade Tempest, I think he might have secured the kill and gotten out of there, but it's really tough to say because right now RSG, even for Lulzy, is having a tough time to open up the map for the rest of his team.
Looking at the players' gold, we see that Bray is second to Skylar at the moment, and Baby Capes kind of falling a little too far behind. Is there any other winning condition that RSGSG can rely on other than Baby Cakes up until this point?
It's a bit tough. I would say that Roy is in a really good position. I mean, he's dishing out a lot of damage. The main issue is that he has to get in pretty close to the fight to steal an ultimate. And still, if they're planning for a fight, he has to steal the ultimate way before the fight even begins, rather in the middle of it.
Okay, conceal. Oh my god, that Kundo connects, but no fallout damage. Oh, then catches 3, and Albert takes 1. And we can see now the collapse that RRQ. It was actually Lozy who set it up, but he gets punished right before the Lord.
Man, and all the while, Bray's just chilling in this bottom side. RQ, are they aware of this, or are they going to go straight for the Lord?
this could still be a little tough here. Bray is level 15 to Owler's level 15. They are moving around trying to open up the map to make sure they know exactly where Ling could possibly be. He didn't show up bottom side, so here we go. A possible steal? No. Is RSG going to attempt it?
Bray.
Nah, too late. Way too late. Bray unable to do anything, and he doesn't even have his purple buff, so it's just not worth it.
Yeah, a little bit too late to the party, and even Diablo stole the purple buff by accident.
It was the little slime he left on the ground that exploded. That's just so unfortunate at a time like now where, especially when Bray needed it the most, that purple buff, hopefully that didn't cost him the game.
I mean, it makes all the difference, right? Especially for a Ling. But right now, RRQ with a 4,000 gold lead, and they have a Lord on the way. It's looking quite scary because RRQ Oshi, they have the better high ground in my opinion.
Only advantage perhaps that RQ, they are on cooldown. Spell-wise here, no flickers, so nothing too crazy, nothing too aggressive. Perhaps RSG, they might have the information.
Maybe. There's a good chance, but here we go. Inhibitors should start to fall. Let's see how RSG responds to this on all sides, getting shoved in.
Wow, base turret mid side and top side has been taken down. RRQ, they are taking this slowly here. They want the bot side base turret first as RSG is still on the defense here. They are looking, they are waiting for the right moment perhaps. Looking for the right opening. Then charges, does not connect here. As you can see here, still, both teams just dancing around for offense and defense.
Still playing very disciplined, though, by RRQ standards, right? Usually they would want to go in for that invade straight on to the base, but no, they have actually opted to be more careful in that decision-making. They tried to go in for that bottom side, but RSGSG, they defended that pretty well.
Yeah, and they still managed to hold on to at least one of their inhibitor turrets for now. But here's the problem, right? This was RRQ's big moment to try and crack in and force a fight onto RSGSG. Bray geniusly slowing down the bottom side of the waves and then putting it in a situation where the waves aren't stacked properly, only mid as well as top side collapsing, but not even at the same time.
Then catches Diablo. Is this the right target? Split is there, but take a look at the damage that Skylar gives. It's too much. He gets taken down, and RRQ, a 5v4 situation, and Albert, he's just silent.
I mean, Skylar, 9-3 KDA up until this point. He also has the Athena shield, so just in case he has to go a little too close to someone like Roy, who's already dealing a lot of damage, he's respecting that. He's trying to increase his abilities to sustain in these team fights.
It's tough. It's tough. Again, RSG is really relying on Lolzy. And yes, Lolzy is trying to make these plays. He's dying for them. But right now, I'm looking at Roy, and I need him to make a heroic play somewhere. He needs to back Lolzy up. He needs to be an active threat on the map. He's 0-1-8 so far, and 8 of those assists was with his team. But right now, he needs to do more. He needs to go that extra mile.
Yeah, I get your point here as Bray. He's just chilling. He's just trying to do what he can do as a Ling behind. And yeah, I can see here the Lord is already contested.
It doesn't feel like Bray is chilling. He's doing so much for his team with splitting those waves. But once again, the contest for the Lord.
Have to fight.
Oh my god, catches Suvin with that Tyrant's Rage. Mortal bombs everywhere. Baby Cake, the first one down. Not a good sign as 1, 2, 3, 4 bodies has already been collected, and Bray gets shut down. Double kill for Clay, and this is going to be the end for RSG. The Kings of Kings will be confirmed securing the upper brackets. RSG will not be able to do and fight, will have to fight from the lowers.
Another crown for them to crush as RRQ Hoshi win this with a very dominant performance. At some point, it could have been RSGSG, but the way that RRQ played, they left nothing up to chance. They made little to no mistakes for RSG to capitalize on. And congratulations, as RRQ Hoshi are going to battle throughout M4 in the upper brackets.
GG, well played to the Kingdom here. Absolutely crushing it. Skylar doesn't feel like he missed position. Same goes to Clay. Their team moves as a unit, and the Kingdom sticks together.
The franchise giants face off, and it is going to be RRQ who will take the throne for now. But yeah, congratulations again RRQ. Wow, what a performance. A solid one. I feel like it was quite textbook up to a point. This is it. The knockout brackets.
Up in the upper brackets, it's going to be Falcon up against Onyx, Echo versus Team Hawk, Todak versus RRQ, and RRQ Akira versus Blacklist International.
Remember, this is a best of 5 series here in the upper brackets. Meanwhile, lower brackets will have a best of 3 RSG. SG will take on S11, and Sendio Supremacy will go up against MDH. The Valley will go and meet Burn Axe Splash. Meanwhile, Malvinas Gaming will go up against Occupied Thrones. Remember, the losers in the lower bracket will go home.
Yeah, this is some tough stuff here. It feels like there's a lot of games to be played down by that lower brackets, and all you need are just 2 solid wins to make it to that grand finals if you are in that upper brackets. So much work is going to be put ahead of us.